This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
We're recording, right?
We are not.
You know what? I am, because as soon as I realized what you're doing, I hit record so we could get this little fucking Easter egg. So
Sweet. We're probably going to just play this in the beginning of the show, and I'm going to hit record.
We're leaving it in, baby. Leaving it in. A little inside baseball.
And I'm recording. Meanie, you want to say your thing?
And recording.
Oh, man.
See,
me in the ass
do
with a lit cigar. Let's just.
So, hold on. So, for the people listening for free, sometimes we come on the Patreon to early, talk to the Patreon folks, and then we go, you want to record? And he counts us down, 3, 2, 1, record, and I go, and recording.
Not today.
That way we can sync up our files real nice and clean. Yep. And then, then he, does the intro, or we'll have a little bit more jibber jabber with the audience. And then, we'll go into the intro like we just did. But you said you wanted to do a show, and I thought we were going to do the 3, 2, 1 recording. I went over and when I heard you hit the theme, I hit record real quick. And so here we are.
What's cool is we each also have a mixed recording on both sides. So as kind of like an emergency thing, the mixed recording is in case your thing craps out or my thing craps out. It's like, you know what, we have that. And then our super duper backup is the Patreon feed. We can always pull that audio if we needed to. So we have these redundancies in place. But yeah, I really shit the bed on this one. So hey, we'll play from your mix thing, and then everyone's gonna get this little bonus here. So cool.
And begin.
This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, again to another edition of Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, welcome back for take 2 of episode 46. What's on your mind?
Give me your tired, give me your weary, give me your blue meanies. I am fucking exhausted. Like me and you had a little inside baseball. Besides the other inside baseball, we're having this conversation. I've been going to bed later and later, and my brain would not shut down until like 4 a.m. this morning. And then we had a set time to do this, and maybe try to do this at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
Yeah. And
then it was like, I sent you a text. We could do 11:30 if you want.
Yeah. Well, no, I said 11:30. You said we can do 12 if you want.
Oh, that's right.
And then I was like, oh, he's up. It's going to be, because I had an errand to run this morning. And then that took significantly less time because I'm actually looking for a countertop for my kitchen. And we did not find what we were looking for. So I shot you a text. I'm like, hey man, I can go anytime. I'm back. It was like 10 o'clock or something. And then I was like, I can do 11 if you want. And then it was like 11:15, and you're just like, oh shit, yeah, I can do this. I can do it soon. You had fallen back to sleep, or which no knock on you, man. Your hours are crazy what you've been keeping.
Yeah. Without going into too much detail, a couple of my friends had fallen on some rough patches, and I've been trying to help out.
Yep.
One friend had a stroke. One friend, couple friends got COVID. So I'm just trying to help their people. As I shut down my phone.
I was gonna say, is that breaking news or just your phone?
That's just.
No, I mean that's awesome what you're doing, and obviously, while this show is incredibly important to us, stuff like that comes first.
Yeah,
and,
I don't want to give out too much details because it's a privacy issue. But
of course,
couple folks I know in my life needed some help, and I've been helping. But
so send some good vibes over to them, Pod Squad.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone can use good vibes, but yeah, especially with that. But no, so Meanie, in helping out, it's kind of been, your hours have been kind of crazy lately. You've been up pretty late.
Yeah.
And so no shame. And if anything, there's jealousy in how late you were able to sleep, but not in how late you were up. But,
I went to bed. My brain, I got into bed at like 2 a.m. and my brain wouldn't shut down till like 4.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh, I got to get up in a couple hours. And then that's when we had the text exchange.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing.
Here we are.
That made me think you were up. Because I got your text. I got your text when you were getting ready to go to sleep or something last night. We always text each other, I love you, before we go to bed at night. And when I got your text, I saw it when I'm up at the ass crack of dawn because my kids are waking me up. And I saw that and I'm like, well, I'm not going to reply to you because you've only been asleep for like 3 hours at this point. So I'm like, all right, let's wait a little bit. And then when I heard from you later, that's when I was like, okay, I guess he's up. I guess we can rock and roll here and do that. But, it worked out because I was able to eat something beforehand.
That's another thing. That's another Minor DeMeanie inside thing. It's like, let's do it at X time. And then I'm sitting there, I'm ready. Like, oh shit, I'm eating.
Yep.
Oh shit, I'm in the shower.
Yeah.
And it was no big deal. I don't give a shit.
The nice thing about it is we're both the same way. Because that's the nice part and the not nice part because it makes it somewhat more challenging for us to stick to the schedule. But at the same time, I feel like you and I both know that we're, if we say it's going to be this one time, it's probably about 15 minutes later,
Yeah.
And we both kind of get that.
That's why I don't break balls because I want my balls broken either. So
yeah. No, but it's it's always the intention is always pure. But
look, if that's the worst thing we have to deal with this podcast, and I think we're getting off pretty lucky, as far as the situation goes. But man,
we're doing well. We're
doing good. Get all things people go, Meanie, how you doing? I had a couple friends reach out. I haven't heard from them. Meanie, how you doing? I was like, good, doing good. All things considered.
Yep.
So I know other friends are, going through some shit, and you try to help them out. But I'm happy. I'm healthy. Mrs. Meanie's healthy. The only thing, we got weird sleep hours. Yeah. Sometimes she's falling asleep when I wake up. I'm going to bed, and she's been, But it works itself out. It works itself out. I'm just fortunate. I live with somebody I love being around and love living with. I couldn't imagine you hear people get married right as the fucking lockdown happens, and that's when you get the real test.
That's the test. Yeah,
that's the fucking test.
I don't know.
I mean, me and Tracy have passed that test. So
yeah, that was my feeling. Was like my wife and I got through this. We can get through anything. Yeah. We've gotten through this lockdown. We had a baby during the lockdown.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Walking Dead when they have a baby during the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, he's the He's a quarantine baby, in the sense that he's never, today as we record this, it's my mom's birthday. And
happy birthday, Mama Shernoff.
Yes, happy birthday. And I'll thank you on her behalf. So
You're welcome.
We
on
were
her behalf.
we were FaceTiming, and my mom has a dog, and my youngest son is like staring at the phone, looking at this, and I realized he's never met a dog or a cat or anything because, we don't have any pets right now. And he's just never, this isn't something where you're out even going for a walk and someone has their dog and, they'll come over and the kids will pet the dog. Like that's not happening,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what his reaction is going to be the first time he sees an animal.
That's kind of cool though, because you're like having these moments.
Yeah.
Like you can write down the date and the time that your baby first saw a dog.
Well, and then, what? That's been the silver lining for me, and I feel like so many parents feel this way. While it has been it's been a tough journey having the kids home from school and having all that stuff, and working from home. But I have spent more time with my youngest at this point. In the first 7 months of his life than I think I did with my other kids in the first 7 months of their lives. I was out at work. I was, and that's the thing here. I'm working from home, and there's definitely times I'm busy, but I can pop upstairs. They can come downstairs, whatever it is. So it's
do run-ins.
Yeah, they do some run-ins. Yeah. So my daughter was very excited to do the drawing for the Royal Rumble thing. She had so much fun and was like so proud of herself. She's going to start asking me when her action figure is coming out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's by
that's
the way,
what I love about this podcast. It's just like family,
Yep.
I mean, of course we started during the apocalypse, but we got Mrs. Meanie's running. Your kids are doing running.
Yep.
And it's all part. It's all good.
Yeah, and I really
it's
like
all good.
The thing I love about this show is, if I can just put us over, is that
somebody's got it.
If you had to explain, it's a podcast, but this is really like a talk radio format.
Yeah,
it really is, and I love that about this because. There's even so we have the construction going on in our house and we've talked about the crawl space, and an HVAC person's supposed to come a couple of days ago. And then they said us yesterday, like, yeah, he's going to come on Saturday. We're like, which is when we're recording this. My wife's like, well, my husband's going to be doing a show. Like, like, oh, he'll just be in the crawl space banging around. And she's like, well, the crawl space is on the other side of the wall of his office in the basement. So,
right.
And he's not here yet, but I said to her, that's one of the things that I love about Mind of the Meanie is if it was So-So Shernoff or That Was Extreme, which is so much more formulaic and in So-So Shernoff, it's scripted, there's no allowance for random noise came in, it throws it off. It's not that type of show. But with this, that's what I told her. I was like, look, if he comes in there and he starts banging, I'll just bring it up on the show. And I'll just tell you what the hell's happening here. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen because that would really suck to have to edit all of that out. But, it's so relaxed. It's so much fun to be able to do. And I mean, I don't want to kill the gimmick, but there's definitely a lot of prep work that goes into putting this show together. And there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But the actual sitting down doing the show is just it's just relaxing. It's just sitting and talking to a friend and talking to our Patreon friends and talking at all of our listener friends, our pod squad. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is, man. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of talk radio. It's kept me awake on many road trips, either through wrestling or sitting on a plane, and I got somebody next to me. I like squishing me in my seat. And I was like, I don't feel like doing that. I'll just pop on something. I'll pop on a podcast or something.
Yep.
So this is like, this feels like something I was meant to do, kind of. Just jibber jabber.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, like when I was a kid, I entered I would do my own radio shows. I would do my own like countdown shows. There's this thing back in the day called a Star Studio, and it was like a karaoke machine where you can slide the one thing over and it takes the vocals out of the thing, and you're supposed to be able to sing with the song. But I would do my own like Casey Kasem kind of bullshit, Hey, this is Brian on blah, 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 blah. Here's my top 10 songs. Blah, 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 blah. And then I record them and I just play them for myself.
Yeah.
And then one time when I was living in Lake City, there's a local station, 104.5 WMGM. I might be wrong on the numbers, but it's WMGM right outside Atlantic City. And they had a contest, be a DJ for a day. And I'd already been doing these tapes, so I just did one. But instead of playing the whole song, I did the intro, outro, and all that stuff. I sent it in. And I was like a regular caller to the show. There's a DJ called Bruce the Bear Ellis. And I would call into his show and just be a regular. And then I sent in a tape. And the one time I called in, they're like, hey, is this Brian? Is this Brian? The winner of the DJ for a day contest? Awesome. I was like, ah! So I got to go in the studio and do all that shit. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, and then when he got fired, they had another guy named Mudman. The Mudman.
Was that when you called? That's when you had that working name, right?
I had I made up a character called the Monger Man.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. Well, I know why. My friend Justin Daniels, who's got 4 Point Toys in Mays Landing, we met in 8th grade, and he started calling me Monger for some reason. I was like, whatever. I've had like a million different nicknames, like, hey, big man. Hey, what up, B? Hey, Monger. Hey, Heff. What's up, man? Different nicknames. So it's just another nickname. So I started calling it. I made up like this character called the Monger Man. It was kind of like an Ultimate Warrior type character. And I'm the Monger Man. Brr, shit like that. And I would do the gimmick where if something was topical, I would blow somebody up. And the way I did that was I would be like, oh, I'm going to blow up so-and-so. And there's this Megadeth song. I can't think of the name of it offhand, but it starts off with this old-timey, I don't want to set the world on fire. And then you hear the fucking whistle and the bomb come in, and it just goes, that. I can't whistle because I can't whistle because I don't have lips. But that's about it. That's yeah. So I would play that sound effect up to the, and it became a thing to somebody tried calling in and pretending to be me, and the guy's like, the Mudman's looking at the fucking caller ID. He's like, you're not him. That's so awesome. Then I called in and I blew the Monger Man impersonator up. And I used to have all this shit.
Slichter, we need a Monger Man t-shirt.
Yeah.
We talked about that a couple months ago. He's been busy making 1,000 other designs for us. So
get back to work. Yeah. How can you have?
I see you logged in here, Slichter. How dare you be on this show right now?
How dare you fucking
man? He has been. This is the weekly Put Over Andy Slichter segment.
Yeah.
But just again, he sent something from That Was Extreme that he came up with based off of. He had to actually send me the timestamp because I had no idea what it was. It was something Joel had talked about, and it was, and we have a design off of it, which is great. Which hopefully will be up on Pro Wrestling Tees soon. Pro Wrestling Tees is always a little bit backlogged in uploading their stuff when they have a sale.
They're kind of busy.
Yeah, so we're hoping in the next week or so. But yeah, no, you were talking about Farpoint Toys, right? That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, Farpoint Toys. They're on. If you go on Amazon Prime, look up the show Toy Store Near You. Mm-hmm. They were just recently featured on a toy store near you, and they talked to these different toy stores that have been affected during COVID. Mm-hmm. but they were affected by not only by COVID, but the fact that their electrical storm, like almost burned their store down. Hit like lightning hit a power line outside.
Now, didn't that happen? And then they like just were back on their feet, and then COVID hit.
No,
or was it the opposite direction?
Opposite direction. They were doing COVID, but they were holding their own doing online stuff.
Right.
So their store was basically went from being a store to just like a warehouse where they were like shipping stuff out from there and stuff like that. And it's Justin and Penelope, and there's a storm. There's a lightning strike. It hit a power thing outside and it shot a volt into their store. The whole like back end of their store was like exploded. And I don't give away too. Watch the show.
Yeah.
But it was so fucked up. Like the power line landed on the ground. I guess there was some, and it like crystallized the dirt. It was so hot or something like that. It's like there's like a permanent thing on the sidewalk. It's freaky.
Wow.
If you hear if you hear Justin tell the story on a Toy Story Near You, and but the cool thing is, I mean, out of the bad thing that somebody did a GoFundMe for him, and the community, toy collecting community, really came through for him.
It's a great community, the toy collecting community. I'm not joking. It's really a great. Obviously I lean much more towards the wrestling figure.
Well, they have some of those. They have those, yeah. They do everything.
You can't see on my screen here, but I've got my whole Hasbro display next to me.
You were sending me stills like of your new setup, which looks great, by the way. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, I still got one more DTOF to build. One more case from IKEA.
Excuse me.
What?
Oh, what?
I beg your pardon.
A D what?
A DTOF. It's from IKEA.
Okay.
Yeah, it means long and glass. But hey, breaking news. We are actually going to be doing a signing and meet and greet and selling our figures there. Now they don't know that yet because I just said it. But when our figures come out and when the world rights itself, we definitely have plans to kind of do some signings. A lot of people have been asking, well, how can I get these figures signed? And so that's kind of the mindset Meanie and I have talked about, which is, and again, this is all when things get back to normal, but we would do meet and greets where we're selling a select number of figures at these toy stores, and also sign it, whatever. But so if you haven't bought a figure yet or you want to buy another one signed, you can come there. We'll sign it in person. We can just sign it. We can sign it to you exactly. Or if you've already purchased one and you're keeping it mint on card and you want it signed, hopefully we'll be at a toy store near you and you'd be able to come bring that and we can sign it. If you're really far away, I'm sure there are things we can work out, and figure it out. But it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to do that. But no, when you're talking about they're on my mind. We've never discussed it with them, but they're in my mind as far as like a place that because I want to check it out. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to go check it out, why don't we just go there and sell some figures while we're there?
It's like a store, but it's also like a museum because they have so much cool shit there. And you could just walk around and just stare at shit for hours. And it's amazing what they got there. And hopefully, once the world heals up and they can open back up and all that good stuff, I would love to do like, sign our figures there and then, do an episode of the podcast from there.
That would be, that would be super cool to be able to do something like that. What would be really great? To be able to do the podcast during the signing.
Yeah.
That could just be fun. Like although that, fun for us, not fun for our listeners. As the whole thing is just like, and Meanie, okay, who am I making this out to? Yeah, come over here. We'll take a quick picture with you. All right, cool. Thanks. Yeah. Anyway, Meanie, we were talking about, I'm sorry, your name is, how do you spell that? So I don't think that would, now that I'm saying it out loud, I think you have a better idea. Vanessa Bello from Patreon says, her only wrestling figure is the Blue Meanie Legend figure. The, what's the company?
That's very kind of you. Well, thank you.
Yeah, what company is
that? That's my only figure too.
Yeah, right.
Well, until now. Now we got two, thankfully. That's another great thing that came out of this podcast. I get to have a second figure, which will be awesome.
So anyone who follows me on social media has seen the pictures from the photo shoot that I did the other day. I actually held the figures. I actually have both of them in some pictures of both of them. But they're saying Farpoint Toys is season 2, episode 2 of a toy store near you. That's Anthony Camarada says.
Thank you, sir.
Check that out.
Please.
But
and thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna watch that tonight. But yeah, the photo shoot that I did was for the back carding of the figure. So that's been sent off now to Cella Toys. They have been waiting, and I was like, I need to, get a haircut and drop some quarantine weight before I before I do this. And but no, so I got those photos done. Those were sent off. I ended up getting some nice new studio shots. So my So Says Shernoff stuff is updated now with a photo that's not a still frame from something I did at Bash at the Beach last year. So they're nice. And I took a photo where I basically stood exactly posed like my action figure. And I was like, well, this is what I'll do in the back. And then I went back and forth, and I showed it to you, Meanie, and showed it to some other people. And I had another one, which is going to be used it's already on some of my social media, not the one of me holding the figure, but I'm kind of turned sideways. And I'm like, well, that's a fun picture. That looks good. I'm still dressed like the figure, but the one of me posed like the figure, I look like a figure. I don't look like a person. I'm just standing there because, I didn't want to smile because the action figure doesn't have a smile,
Right.
So, but I was like, what? It's fine. I can.
Looking all hard and shit. Just
yeah, I am. But I don't know. They cut it from the waist up for the package, so you can't tell.
Yeah. That's a good thing about being fat. Nobody sees your erections in public. Just,
RJ writes, yeah. Sorry, that took a minute to get there.
Yeah. I woke up with the biggest erection of my life. Hope the other people on the bus didn't mind.
RJ says, how was the photo shoot with yourself? Are you implying that I took the photos of myself? Because I did not. Trust me. It was the first time in 325 days, I think, that I had been in a public place without a mask on. And it was nerve-wracking in that regard, but it was socially distant and only took the mask off for the photos and whatnot. But yes, if you're implying I just took pictures of myself, thank you for thinking that I have the skill to do professional photos, but I don't. No, I had somebody, I went somewhere and somebody took those photos of me. Because it turns out, and Meanie knew this, when you're a professional, you should have professional photographs. And that was the thing when they're like, we need these background photos. Here, look at the one Nick Aldis has. I'm like, oh, that's a really nice professional photo. And we're like, okay, well, here's Meanie's. Oh, that's a really nice professional photo. Here's Josh's. Yeah, that's from my iPhone. I just kind of took a still frame of a video. They're like, this isn't a high enough quality photo. You're going to need to do better. So, but no, I'm excited to actually have real photos.
But it's also good to have some new professional photos.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Because, you never know. Somebody's like, oh, I need some photos for this, I forget. Yeah. I just sent a bunch of photos for something. Oh, the thing I recorded I can't talk about yet. And then, I had to scroll through some studio shots that I had.
Yeah.
And shout out to wrestling photographer Frank Boris. Dude, he say, the photo for we're using, he would show up to indie shows and just set up his well, he's part of the show too, but he would set up a professional studio, take shots of you, shoot you in the ring, and just send it off to you and be like, hey, if you want to use these. And that's a cool
awesome
gesture.
Yeah.
That's such a cool gesture because or gesture. Yeah, gesture. Because sometimes I say jester instead of gesture.
You're thinking Gary.
Yes. Gary. No, I'm just kidding. That's Howard Stern.
Different Gary.
But dude, when I first got into the business, first got into these. I mean, there was these guys who would take photos, and they would take these photos and they would print out these 8x10s and come in the locker room. We go, hey, I got the shot for you. Oh, thanks. And you go to take it. He's like, oh, that'll be $20. I was like, oh, really? Todd. Todd, this guy's, not only making money taking photos at our ringside, but he's trying to sell me my own photo at the mark price in the locker room.
That's what I did a show. And
you see the guy backpedal real quick, like, you hear the Flintstone theme.
I'm not going to say who this is or what show it was because I don't want to, I don't want to be a jerk.
Yeah.
But I did an indie show a year or so ago, and the guy was just like, hey, I'm taking pictures backstage of everybody. You want to take these pictures? And I'm like, yeah, this is great, because I had actually done one before, and I had done an indie show, and they had a whole setup. Dude did an amazing job, but I was just doing commentary, and I felt like inappropriate to go up and ask them to take a photo of me while they were taking all the wrestlers. Turns out afterwards, they're like, oh, did you get your photo? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, you're supposed to do that. I'm like, oh, shit. But this other one I went, and then I was like, okay, this is awesome. Great. I need new photos for the Suffer Fight and all that. And they're like, okay, that's going to be whatever it was. I think they were charging me like $30 a photo or something, and not even in a print. And I'm like, no, like, I almost want to look and be like, listen, pal, like, I didn't charge you to take a picture of me. Don't try,
right.
You were there. You're being paid to be there already. Right. Like, no, you're not doing that. So I ended up talking to the promoter, and the promoter was like, that's bullshit. You're supposed to get that for free. And so we agreed. They're like, well, we'll give you 2 for free. And I'm like, good. Because I only like one of them. I look like shit in all the others. So,
Yeah.
But then those quickly I grew a beard, and those quickly went out of style, because that's like the one they used for Retromania. And, I do not have a beard in Retromania. It's a dated thing. I was going to ask them to add my beard in, but then I was like, I don't want to set that game back. Yeah,
they've already had enough issues with the quarantine and the shutdown.
Yeah. The least important thing is that. But I kind of like the fact that there's representation of me with the beard in action figure form and without the beard in video game form. Like, I think that's pretty cool.
Again, that's another good thing that came out of this podcast, the Mine and the Meanie, because we're getting action figures, we're in the video game.
Yeah, you go back a year ago, for me at least. You go back a year ago, and this is nowhere on my radar, the idea that a year later I would be in a video game and have an action figure, like, have a cartoon.
Pretty fucking sweet. Yeah.
Like, has been so, are there any other mediums of which to represent yourself? Like, we do audio, we do video, we have a cartoon, we have an action figure, we're in a video game. There's a comic book.
Yeah.
That's next.
I kind of got offered a comic book. I got offered a coloring book deal. That I might do.
You should.
But I just got to think of a story. So, and this was like a year ago. So
they want it to be a children's coloring book?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, farting is funny.
Yeah. We should get the Mine of the Meanie Viewmaster. Like a little thing with the
Yep.
Yeah, different photos.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was a big mark for those. Hey, if you don't mind, I'd like to open up my fucking ultra real.
I would too, but I've got a story behind it. Why don't you open yours first?
Okay. I got the Spindrift as a callback. Spindrift, sparkling water, half tea, half lemonade.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. So hold on, 3, 2.
All right.
Go Birds.
Yeah. So
go Carson Wentz.
Take a look at this can. This is really
Sir, pull your pants back up.
Yeah. If you can see, it's dented in.
Oh.
What I can't show you is that this weighs nothing. You hear this?
Sir, pull your pants back up.
This is... I don't know what happened. This is a sealed can. It feels as though it is half filled.
Or
half empty.
Half empty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I decided, because, I decided that I was going to save it. When I went to take this out the other day, I was like, I'm saving this for the show. So I'm going to open it up on the air, and I'm curious.
You should just leave it. It's like an antique. You go like, oh, that one day. Yeah. It's like when you get the egg that has 2 yolks in it. It's just like.
So let's hear.
Or speck of blood, whichever you're.
Like. That's it.
Smell it.
Smells like lemon lime. I think there's no. Should I taste it? Should I taste this or no?
That could be bad. That could be bad. Is it poison?
There is no carbonation whatsoever.
Oh, so it's flat.
It's. I mean, it looks about. It looks like maybe half filled, and there's no carbonation, and that's why it was what it was. So, who wants this? I'll sell this for $5. Here we go.
But did you at least bring yourself a real one, like a live round?
Oh, of course I did.
Oh, okay.
Of course I did. Here we go. Right now, for $5. Okay. There you go. I've signed it. I will sell this to someone for $5. I just got my new pens, so I just want to take it out. They're there. I mean, I didn't just get them. I just opened them the other day to see how they were. I got them a while ago, waiting to sign those, those pictures that you have.
Yeah, I gotta get I'll be out.
But there you go.
I'll fucking get there.
Vanessa had said sign. I didn't even see this. Vanessa says sign it and sell it for $10.
Oh,
well, there you go. When there's a market for something,
supply and demand.
$10.
Just remind me, like,
I'll give you $250. Travis, starting at $250. $250. Dude, if you think that I am above selling this can with my signature on it, you don't know me. I might be a terrible salesman, but I will also,
I'll sign it and bring the value down.
Devin's asking $5 shipped. Yeah, Meanie, you're gonna bring the value down. Putting your signature on something is gonna bring the value down of when I sign something.
Hang on to that can. Mm-hmm. And when I bring up the concept art for you to sign,
and Meanie's gonna sign this can.
I'll sign that can.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then once it's signed, we'll show everybody. I kind of need to touch up that signature a bit. Turns out it's not that easy to sign a can, but all right, I'm keeping it. But I got this one. There you go. There it is.
There we go.
And this is citrus and green tea.
You just reminded me, like every time like I get a good spot at like the store and I see somebody sitting there with their blinker on waiting for me to back out, I always go, good spot, $5, good spot. Give me $5, I'll leave.
I think this is the master plan of how we can make a ton of
Thinking
money.
of a master plan. Go ahead.
We're going to, I think we just when we can do live shows, we'll do live shows and then we'll do autograph signings afterwards. And all the cans of seltzer that we drank during the show we'll sign. But then we'll have the one during the show that's like for the lucky fan that we just throw into the audience.
Yeah. We'll stone cold it into the fucking crowd.
And then they get to bring it. If they have it, they can bring it up and we'll sign it for free. That's the
dude. We'll hire Mark Eaton, who used to throw the beers to Stone Cold, to come to the show.
Yeah. The only thing is,
we'll pay him to toss us seltzers while we hit Stone Cold's theme.
Yeah.
He only lives like an hour from here.
Yeah?
From us. Yeah, he's in Harrisburg.
Do you think that he could, like, I know he can throw from a really long distance, great overhead. Incredible what he's done. Yeah. But remember, I have to catch this. So do you think he could get within a foot of me and just slowly toss it to me? So I have a chance.
Dude, like, yeah. I mean, he was the fucking MVP at Raw, tossing those beers to Stone Cold.
All right. Well, the next time we do the first time we do a live show, that's close to him. Try and remember. I want to see if we can get him there so he can throw us our seltzers. Dude,
I almost drove out his way because on his social media, but like a couple months ago, there's a beer store near him that gets the Stone Cold IPAs.
Yeah.
And I had some at the last Cauliflower Alley I went to. My buddy Mikey Hawes brought some out to what's that?
What was that sound?
That was my antivirus thing.
Oh, okay. It was like after you said the dude's name. It's like, I was like, does he have like a theme music?
That's so weird. It's like, it's amazing what bleeds through, and you know what? I hold on. Let me see if I could do this quick little experiment. Let me minimize this. Tell me if this comes through. Hold on, let me see. So, when I raise my finger.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can't see your finger, but which begs the question of where your finger was, but I did hear that.
Oh, okay. That's I set up the thing, and Tracy wanted to record herself playing her stylophone.
Mm-hmm.
So she's playing that. Yeah, I was just so that can come.
Can you do that one more time?
Hold on. I exited out. Hold on, here it comes again.
It's okay.
No, here it comes. Hold on.
All right. I just want to add into it, really make it our own.
Dude, she's been really good with that. She
yeah, that's really cool.
She's playing that song Sandstorm, the song they always play at like NFL games.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so proud that if I could heap some praise on Mrs. Meanie,
heap away.
She did a video on Instagram, and then the next day she did on Twitter of her singing oh my God, Learning to Fly by Tom Petty.
It was really good.
And she was playing her ukulele, and I was really proud that she did that because she can sing, and I've heard her sing, but she's like shy, and the fact that she did that and posted that was like a big thing for me to see, and I had a little happy tear well up in my eye watching that, and then watching people react to the thing I've known all along, kind of thing.
Yeah, so I was very impressed, very proud of her. She did between the ukulele, right? There was a ukulele she was playing, right?
Yep.
Between the ukulele and the singing, I was just like, because at first when she started, I didn't know what, I clicked on the thing. I'm like, what's she doing here? And I'm like, listen, I mean, I love that song anyway. That's a great song. And
yeah,
she's playing. I'm like a couple seconds go in, I'm just like, this is pretty damn good. I'm really enjoying this. And then I'm just listening to it like it's, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Mrs. Meanie. Very cool though. Yeah, everybody go check that out. Where did she post it? Did she post it on?
She posted it on her Instagram at vomitus.maximus on Instagram, and on Twitter at Trey Fave. Instead of K-Fave, Trey Fave. Yeah, I was hoping she was talking about switching from Tricky McVomit to Trey Fave for a while, and I wanted to I'm smart enough to know that if she says it and I go, oh, you should do that, I won't follow it up and pressure her because then she'll change her mind.
Right.
So I let her do it on her own, and I'm happy she did it. You know, it's a cool name, Trey Fave. Fuck yeah,
That's awesome.
You know, yeah.
While you were talking, I went in and
she's a cool chick.
Signed over my signature to make it a little darker. You can kind of see it now. I'm not joking. You're gonna sign this.
I will.
Yeah, when you come up here, you'll sign that, and then we will.
Oh, you'll sign it.
Yeah. There's part of me I'm like, should we like raise money for something?
We should.
Yeah. Like instead of selling it for $5 for us, like who gives a, why don't we do that? Why don't we come up with a fun charity?
I was going to say, what's a good charity we could donate to?
What if the highest bidder for this can of seltzer, this flat can of seltzer with our signatures on it, whoever is the highest bidder gets to pick the charity?
Yeah.
And we send 100% of the proceeds to it.
And it's got to be a legit
proceeds. What if, I'm not taking. Yeah, after I take out the 30 cents that the can cost me.
5 cents in Vermont.
Yeah. I say you got to look at it and be like, okay, so what can this go for? Because they always like print it on there. What can this go for? I'm going to deduct that.
I forgot Vermont's a state. You know, do you ever hear a state's name and you forget? Yeah, you're like, yeah, they're part of America.
Yeah.
Idaho.
Vermont.
Oh yeah,
what city is that? What state is Vermont in? Yeah.
Yeah. Where's Idaho? Idaho, no, Idaho, motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. No, me and Mrs. Meanie watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and there's one contestant named Utica, like Utica in New York, what's her name? Oh no. Idica, or it was a joke along those lines. Idica, no, Utica, or something like that. Yeah. So I heard that, and I was Idaho, no, Idaho, motherfucker. So yeah.
Yeah, there's this girl in high school who, like, I didn't even know her. She was like a friend of mine, and her name was Hueda. So we'd always be like, so whenever we talked to her, whenever we would talk to the mutual friend, she'd be saying something or whatever and be like, oh, wait a minute. Just constantly, one of those deals. So
Cool Whip. Like on Family Guy still, he was like, Cool Whip. So saying Cool Whip. He's like, why is that? And Brian the dog said, why is that? Saying like what? Cool Whip.
Cool
Or
Whip.
whatever. Yeah.
What?
What?
That was the name of
Becky,
my high school
God.
band's album that we did it was Say What? It was HWHAT. Which
I was a manager of.
Oh, what?
I was a manager of Justin Daniels from who I was talking about from 4 Point Toys and Solace. Him and a couple of friends got together and had a band called FCM, which stood for Free Charles Manson.
Sure.
And they had one show.
Yeah.
They did like 3 covers at some girl's 16th birthday party, but I was the manager.
Oh man.
Which meant I just stood on the side and went, yeah.
Yeah, you were the Sly from California Dreams.
I don't know what that
that's
is.
a deep cut there.
I think you hit an artery on that one.
Yeah, nobody knows that. It was
you
a
hit
show
a Bill
that,
Alfonso type
it was like
artery.
The Poor Man Saved by the Bell, but it like came on after Saved by the Bell.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, hey, bringing that up, couple of upsetting losses. This is the point in the show where we bring everything down. But I mentioned Saved by the Bell, and I think it's appropriate to mention Dustin Diamond, that we, lost Dustin Diamond to cancer at the age of 44.
Too young, man.
Horrible. Just really upsetting. I feel like his proverbial redemption tour never really got to happen. And I feel like I feel like it would have. You know what I mean? Yeah. Eventually. I feel like wounds were starting to heal, and it just really sucks. And the reason I bring that up specifically is because you teamed with him.
Yeah.
And that earned you a reference in Trivial Pursuit, which I think is edition. The coolest thing, right?
Yeah. It was 90s edition of Trivial Pursuit. And
it was just the 90s edition, then who cares, right?
Yeah, fuck me. Yeah.
In the '90s edition.
I posted on the socials at Blue Meanie BWO. It was not a weird situation, but I was doing a show in Milwaukee for Dave Hero and his cousin Jack Koshik.
Love Dave Hero.
Dave Hero is awesome, and I as much as I love Dave Hero, I love his cousin Jack Koshik maybe a little bit more.
Yeah,
because he's just such a cool. He's like just a cool laid back. Jack Koshik is a concert promoter who would do shows under the moniker Jack Koshik Presents, and he would do like the Milwaukee Metal Fest. And they would, he would do half like metal concert, and then between bands, he would have a wrestling show. There would be a ring set up in the middle of the fucking floor, and while bands are tearing down, like a match would happen. So that was always pretty cool. So I started doing, Dave was booking me for those, and Jack, had me on a couple of those. But then as time went on, they worked out a deal with the minor league hockey team in Milwaukee, which I can't think of right now, but I
think they're called the Vermonts.
The Milwaukee Vermonts.
The Milwaukee Vermonts.
That's cool. That's good.
Hey, thank you.
And they would play wherever WWE ran in Milwaukee. So it's like that, the same place where, the Mega Powers exploded and turned on each other, that room where, Randy Savage hits, Liz is down, Randy Savage, Hulk carries Liz back, and then, Randy runs back and hits him with the belt.
And knocks everyone and everything over.
Yeah.
Is this the one where Hulk is like, when are we back, brother? Or one of those things?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yep. So they were doing a show that was going to be the post hockey game. After the hockey game, they lowered a ring from the ceiling onto the ice.
What?
And they would have matches. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How is that even like built? How's that even constructed?
Brother, I don't know. I didn't watch it because I was supposed to do a mixed tag match, me and a partner who shall never be named, against Luna and Gangrel. Well, the partner who should never be named decided to no-show, because why not?
Fucking Nova. Yeah. I'm kidding.
I know. So I landed in Milwaukee, and they're like, oh, well, so-and-so no-showed. You're going to be tagging with Screech. I went, what? Turns out Dave Hero and Jack Koshik were sort of managers for Dustin Diamond at the time, or they're doing stuff with Dustin Diamond, right? They're like, yeah, he's going to be your tag partner. I went, what? Cool. Yeah. I had met Dustin when I was in Memphis for WWE.
You couldn't get me AC Slater.
But yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. So I get to the building. I met Dustin in Memphis. He was cool, no issues. So, but like I had to teach him how to wrestle maybe 2 to 3 hours before the show even started. So, and probably in that same room that Hogan laid out. Savage laid out Hogan, because it's weird, you can recognize certain buildings by the walls in the back, in the background, like that background of that wall. It's it's like a brown wall, but with square.
Yeah.
Well, anytime I see a photo from Memphis, I was like, oh, that's the shower at the Mid-South Coliseum, because of the tiles in the background, So, we get to we're in the backstage in Milwaukee. I was like, oh, this is where fucking Hogan and Savage fucking turn on each other. This is pretty fucking cool.
That's awesome, yeah.
Like when I go to Allentown, I look for the door. I look for the door that Roddy Piper hid from Jimmy Snuka
in the bathroom.
Yeah. So
you told that story before. That's the only reason I know it was a bathroom.
Yeah, because as soon as I got there, I was like, oh, where's that door? Oh, there's the door. What the fuck's in there? I go in there. Oh, it's just a fucking shitty bathroom. So Roddy just hid in the fucking bathroom for a couple hours. Sorry to ruin the illusion, but
Hey, anyone who's ever tried to run away from somebody in school knows you go to the bathroom up on the toilet in the stall.
Yeah.
Hide your feet.
Yeah. Just like Jim Ross at the NWA convention when he's taking a dump and he hears two fellow NWA promoters talking about putting a hit on Vince McMahon, and he's like, and he just puts his feet up in the air so in case anybody looks underneath the stall, he doesn't want to be implicated, you know. We're gonna. Yeah, he overheard people wanting to whack, legit Soprano style whack Vince McMahon for breaking into taking the territories or whatever. But so we're doing this thing. The show, it's after a hockey game in Milwaukee, but also they had like other wrestlers on the show, but they had the legendary Dick the Bruiser on the show. So it was kind of cool. Got to meet Dick the Bruiser. And if you can imagine this, we did it like a meet and greet in the hallway at this hockey game. It's Dick the Bruiser, Screech, and the Blue Meanie.
Wow.
Signing autographs. And, I mean, other people were there, like Buff Bagwell was there, Brian Christopher was there, Al Snow was there. We did this twice. The other time I did it, I wrestled Al Snow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know you'd ever wrestled Al.
We wrestled twice. We wrestled once for WWE in Washington. I was a substitution for Goldust, who this is around the time I tell, our match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre was kind of edited because of Dustin's back.
Right.
So we're doing a show in Washington. It's supposed to be Dustin against Al. His back was acting up, so I wrestled Al as a last-minute substitution with Goldust at ringside, and Goldust, helped me win. And then, the second time I wrestled Al was, I know, I'm sure I probably said I never wrestled Al, but then this just jarred a memory. Just talking about the story, I went, oh yeah, I did that. Yeah. There's some things I don't know until other people make me remember it. Like a repressed memory or whatever.
Yeah, but you're on. I mean,
not
especially
that it's a bad
thing. On the road.
Oh yeah.
You're wrestling every night. And you can't remember who you're necessarily working.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother story. Like that's a whole nother side road I don't want to go down. But like nothing boils my blood more than somebody calling somebody a liar because they misremember something they did.
Right.
Because it's one thing to be a wrestler and you're in the fucking moment and you're constantly going forward, where the fans have the luxury of, watching something not once but multiple times and memorizing it, where the guy who lived it is on to the next thing and forgets what he just did, much like this podcast.
And then there's this expectation too that what else happened on the show. If you don't know what happened on the show, you're in the shower.
You were there. You were there. Yeah, I was teaching Screech how to fucking wrestle.
Yeah, right.
But yeah. So me and I basically taught him some like basic shit, and then me, Screech, Luna, and Gangrel got together. I was like, hey, this is, and they went over shit with him too. I'm not going to take the whole credit for it, but and then, like, the match happened, they beat the fucking brakes off him. So, but it was kind of cool. And then, like, years later,
I don't know if it was cool for him.
No, he was a good guy, man. That's what really brings me down. And, like, everybody has their issues. Yeah. His more documented than the average person. But one-on-one. In a room just talking, he's a sweetheart. He's a good guy. But like,
I mean, I think you have to remember, he's a child actor, which always can kind of,
which usually never ends well.
Yeah, that can be tough. And then from that, you have to look at his persona. I mean, here's a guy who was known worldwide as being this nerdy, wimpy, and I think that there was a lot, and this is just speculation from what you said, but I think there was a lot of him kind of wanting to be like, hey, that's not me. I'm not this weak kind of, head in the clouds, goofy, like what, and I think as he got older, it was he wanted to be seen as a little cooler, a little, tougher. And I think, you can't, you look at like Mark Paul Gosselaar playing Zach Morris, right? And you look at Dustin Diamond playing Screech, and they're going to have people believe, even just actors, they see you as whatever character you are. And I feel like that's got to be something that maybe was a little tough too, as he got older and, his acting career, you're pigeonholed. Like you're seen as this one, you're typecast, you're seen as this one way. And, but either way, I mean, just really, it sucks and it's a shame.
Well, just imagine growing up as the one character, and then you're walking down the street, and every day of your life, hey, Screech, hey, Screech, hey, Screech, hey, Screech, hey, Screech. Yep. And, it's like, hey,
Well, it's one of those things, not comparing.
And then,
exactly.
you try to get other roles, and you're so known as the one character that nobody wants to give you another role.
Well, I'd have to imagine. I'm saying it's not exactly the same, but I'd have to imagine it's something you can kind of relate to, as the Blue Meanie character.
Yeah, but I'm fortunate that I love being called Meanie.
Oh yeah, no. I don't mean that aspect of it.
But
if there was a time, you did the Blue Boy thing, but the thing is, we've talked in the past about how there are probably, a handful of scenarios where maybe they weren't going to see. A perfect example. I don't know if you saw on the network, Stone Cold Sit Down with Bailey.
Not yet.
It was really good, and she made a really interesting point about the decision to cut her hair and turn heel and do all that. And she said there were things like she's watching these like Hell in the Cell matches and these ladder matches, these things. And she's like, I'm not even in the conversation. In the gimmick that she was, in the happy hugger Bailey, she wasn't even in the conversation because they couldn't see her being in a Hell in a Cell. That's not who she was. And she felt like she wasn't getting the opportunities because of the character that she was playing, that they didn't see that character as being able to be believable in those settings. And that's something that that's what I think is something maybe you could have related to, in the sense that, not that you were dying to do a Hell in a Cell match, but but it is something. The Blue Meanie character wasn't the one where they're like, okay, we're gonna have this super serious bloodbath style match. Who could we put in there? It's got to be Meanie. He has bloodbath, serious match written all over him.
Blue bath, but not blood
yes.
Bath. Yes, I gave Goldust a blue bath one time.
But no, so it's something like that where I could see you being seen in a certain way. But like you said, luckily you love being called Meanie. You love the character, and it's, but it's not the same. You were a comedic character, but no one was ever like, oh, Blue Meanie, he's the wimpy nerd.
Which goes to the thing where, when I started coaching people or teaching people, like before the Monster Factory, there's a couple times where I coached a couple people at a couple different wrestling schools, just get in, teach them bumps, all this shit. Mm-hmm. And as we're going on, I'm remembering a lot of stuff that I learned at Al's. People are like, man, it's weird. I didn't know that you knew how to do this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like,
and it sounds like that's stuff that I try to say to you in a way that I don't want it to come off as oh, I didn't know you were a good wrestler. You know what I mean? But it's
show's over, pal. Show's over. Welcome to the last edition of Mine of the Meanie.
That you should have a role as a producer, in my opinion, somewhere. You should be doing that because of your knowledge. But we've talked many times that I feel like because of your character, you don't jump out. I remember I went to an NXT show years ago, and there's this kid sitting next to me. He's probably early 20s or something, and he goes to me. He's like, "You know what they should do if they want to make Raw better?" And I'm like, "All right, here we go." And he's like, "They need to make." They need to have Stone Cold and The Rock on the creative team. And I just thought about that, and I was like, that's not, just because Stone Cold and The Rock were the biggest, that doesn't necessarily, one has nothing to do with the other, Right. And that's the kind of thing is I feel like people, if someone was like, hey, we need some real great character work for something kind of comedic and doing that and everything, they would be like, oh, Meanie. But if they were like, oh, we need this, hour-long Broadway style thing, well, you could also do that. But I don't think you're you know what I mean? You're not the first name that might pop in their head. And I hope that doesn't sound offensive. And, half of this, I'm sure I'm just talking out my Meltzer, but it's, it's kind of, just threw that in there. It's,
So did Meltzer.
Did you, can I talk for a second? Can I talk for a second about Dave Meltzer?
Please do.
And I'm going to do something about this on my show because I'm just at this point having fun. But that guy, did you hear? And I heard it because I found it. I wanted to hear it in context, where he said about the lack of buildup to the Royal Rumble, that he wished that Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard and all of them had his work ethic.
Wow.
And I don't have the exact quote verbatim, but that I'm going to play. Let's play it. How's that sound?
Sure.
Because I think this could be a real conversation. If I can find it somewhere.
And full disclosure, I like Dave. But
But sometimes don't be, are you not comfortable doing this? Because I can,
No. Please do it. But while you're searching, I just want to, full disclosure, I like Dave. He's done good things for the business, but now in this social media age where basically you have to talk, in order for him to make a living, he has to analyze everything.
Mm-hmm.
Where, even if it's something he doesn't want to talk about, he's got to talk about it because he's made this, platform for himself where he's the wrestling guy.
But he doesn't have to say some of the things he says. So listen to this.
Right.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
This person says, now that the streaming content is bringing in as much money as the TV shows, do you think more effort will be put into the monthly pay-per-views? Seems outside of WrestleMania, a lot of pay-per-view matches have been filler set up at the last minute. Well, that includes the Royal Rumble, by the way.
Good Lord, I don't even know what the Royal Rumble card is. And where we just had the last bra. I had to ask, and I don't even have my answer yet, on a couple of questions on the card for Sunday. So, I do not, I believe the opposite. I believe that the money's guaranteed, and that lowers the incentive. I wish they had my work ethic, because for me it would make no difference whatsoever. But I've watched ever since the network where you don't have to, with pay-per-view, you had to promote every pay-per-view because it was an individual buy. So you had to convince people every month that they had to get this pay-per-view or you're getting no money. With a network.
All right, so we'll cut off his shitty audio there. So here's my take on it.
He definitely doesn't have a roadcaster.
No, I don't actually disagree.
Right. No, like what he's saying.
It was just this pompous, remove that line of, I wish they had my work ethic. And look, we all say things we don't necessarily mean, and maybe he didn't mean it that way, but it seemed like he meant it that way. What he meant by my work ethic was, no matter how much money they're paying him, he's still going to work just as hard as if he was, working for the paycheck, so to speak. Right? You have guaranteed money. You don't work as hard in some ways. In itself, I don't blame him for that opinion. It's a little douchey, but he is kind of douchey. So that's, it is what it is. Bruce Pritchard obviously took a lot of offense to it, but
Has he replied? Has he said anything?
He did on Something to Wrestle.
Okay.
Kind of, basically it's just kind of become a joke about how, because here's the thing. Nobody works harder in this world than Vince McMahon. That is the thing that we have been told.
That's been well documented that the only problem Vince McMahon has is there aren't enough hours in the day.
And Bruce Pritchard is being run into the ground.
To the point where he can almost not record his own fucking podcast because he's at Vince's beck and call
and
every moment of the day because of Vince McMahon's worth ethic.
And that is why to hear Dave Meltzer suggest that because they've been given this $1 billion over 5 years deal or the whatever it is, to suggest that now they're just kind of hanging back and not doing anything.
Oh, he's saying because they got the money, they're just coasting.
Right.
Basically.
Now, I agree wholeheartedly that I thought their build-up was kind of, lacking.
But the reason why they got the $1 billion deal is because of Vince McMahon's worth ethic.
But here's the thing with the build-up, though, Meanie. Like, you could look at it that it was lacking, or you could look at it and say they're in the midst of a pandemic. They never know. We talked about this once before on the show. You never know what
who's going to be
there. Yeah. So the fact that they only announced a handful of people for the Rumble, first of all, I liked that because I had no idea who was coming out.
That's the whole gimmick of the Royal Rumble is not knowing who's coming out when.
Now,
and
look,
the surprises.
I am the first to be critical of their creative. I think most of it is very, very bad. That's my honest opinion. It's not for me.
I think as a whole, wrestling creativity right now as a whole, there's nothing really that gives me the butterflies to where, oh man, I can't wait to see this.
Right.
The big shows, not that big show, but like the bigger events. Yeah, the big events always get this sentimental, it's Rumble season. It's WrestleMania season. Because it reminds me of my childhood. I think it's childhood stuff. And I watch the show, and then it's either good or not. But, like, in retrospect, everybody I've talked to, online or in, people in my inner circle, I got a small circle of friends that I talk wrestling about. We all agree that the Rumble was really good this year.
Yeah.
And, again, to plug it a little bit, we do alternative commentary for the Royal Rumble. And you brought up this point during the Royal Rumble, how hard it must be to book an event not knowing who's going to fucking, fail their fucking COVID test. Dude, the Kansas City Chiefs just had a fucking a COVID scare with their fucking barber.
Yeah.
Did you hear that story?
Yeah.
For those outside the United States, we got the Super Bowl this Sunday, Chiefs versus the Buccaneers, and the Chiefs have their own private barber that they had cutting everybody's hair, and the guy was in the middle of a haircut, and they had to run in and pull him out because his test results came, which is like, well, why don't you just wait for his results to come in before he starts cutting hair? And then the guy whose hair he was cutting posted a new photo, his social media profile photo where half his head shaved. I can't think of the guy's name, but he's like, oh, well, I'm going to have to make this work. And it's like half his head is fucking shaved. But that's the world we live in. Yep. You don't know.
Another thing.
Like I said, I just had 3 friends fucking get the COVID. And, you just never know. And he wants to shit on. He wants to, say I wish Vince McMahon had my worth ethic. Sorry, first day with the new mouth. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's the and this is.
But here's the please
no.
It's like
please
if he, like he said, he has a valid point. Creative is down. It's not the best right now. But then again, it's you can't. You're fantasy booking for for a show where you don't know you're going to have people who's going to be available and stuff like that.
So Meltzer,
I had a thought and it dissipated.
I'm sorry, it's my fault.
No.
That's all over your toes and.
No, that's me, man. That's
Meltzer.
That's 47 years old.
Meltzer replied to somebody back on February 4th. And he was talking about certain things in the booking and all that stuff, and somebody commented, and you know what's happening because you've booked so many territories, right? And Meltzer's response to that. Now, I get blocked for asking him to rate Meanie Toons, right?
Right.
Meltzer's response, though, is name 3 winners of the Booker of the Year award in the last 25 years who didn't grow up reading me and studied booking from me in some form. So here's my take on that, okay?
Wow.
First of all, I want to send him a care package because at this point, he must have torn his shoulder patting himself on the back, you know? But what, like, okay, first of all,
he's got to be playing a character at this point, right?
I guess, but
or does he really? But does he truly believe?
First of all, how do you rate something based on name 3 winners of Booker of the Year award? That's your award.
Right.
That's your award that you gave.
Right.
You can You gave an award to people that you deemed great bookers because those people read your magazine.
Right.
Your newsletter, your dirt sheet, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to tell you something. I did not grow up reading The Observer. I had never read The Observer, ever. I was an After Mags guy.
Yeah. And
somehow I managed to get ideas about the wrestling business, and I managed to learn about the business without the almighty and powerful Wrestling Observer. So, but how do you use, and somebody actually even commented here, the Bookers of the Year as voted on by only Dave's subscribers seems like a solid metric to use.
That's great.
And to suggest that you know anything about booking because your readers voted in your publication to give an award to people who are like-minded.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, last time I checked, Vince McMahon didn't grow up on The Observer. I'm pretty sure Bischoff didn't grow up on The Observer.
No.
Paul Heyman maybe read The Observer. I don't know. But he doesn't strike me as someone who was sitting back really reading The Observer. He was kind of too busy doing things, you know?
The great Graham family who ran Florida and had booked some of the greatest angles. I'm sure they were around before The Observer.
Yeah,
Pat Patterson.
Huge Observer fan. Lived by The Observer.
Creator of the Royal Rumble. Yeah.
Every finish he came up with, as they say, the Royal Rumble, exactly. That was one of the things. Pat Patterson was like, we need to come up with something. And he goes, what would Dave Meltzer do? And he goes,
Pat, listen here, pal. We didn't need something for WrestleMania for Brett and Sean.
Okay, Vince. But hold on, I'm reading The Observer, Vince.
Yeah, I mean, good God, let's
Iron Man, Vince. Let's do the Iron Man match, Vince.
Yeah,
you know,
Stu Hart. I know, huge Observer follower when he was booking Stampede.
Yeah,
it was all just what's Meltzer saying? What's Meltzer saying?
He was rolling around and there's stacks of them in the dungeon.
Yeah, and then that was pretty much that. That was they didn't even have a mat. It was just Observers.
Yeah, they were bumping on Observers.
And then, I mean, oh, man, I know the Fritz von Erich. I know he was a big, that guy couldn't book anything if he hadn't consulted a previous month or two of The Observer.
Well, that's how he got his strength for the claw. You know, just he built up strength. He got a lot of paper cuts reading The Observer.
Yeah.
And it just built up this scar tissue that when he slapped on that dreaded iron claw, that the blood, the crimson mask.
The most realistic aspect of that would be that he built up the strength in the claw by crumbling up The Observer. And here's the thing, like you said, like you like Dave. I don't actually have a personal relationship with him at all. A lot of the stuff is kind of tongue in cheek, and
God
you know,
damn, man.
a lot of it is just kind of fun because I think he was just. I think he's pompous. I also think he negates anything that he says that makes sense or is well thought out. Instantly goes out the window when he says crap like that. I just...
Yeah, he'll say something, and I'll be on board, and then he'll just throw in that monkey wrench, and I'm just like, hold on, you know.
Yeah.
Rewind that tape. Just fucking...
We have Devin Miller here says, it scares me that Dave has a direct line to Tony Khan. He does not have a direct line to Tony Khan. There's no... I don't believe... I mean, in the sense that I'm sure he could get in touch with him if he wanted to. But Meltzer... Like, here's the thing. Tony Khan, he grew up reading that stuff, I'm sure. You know? I'm sure he did. He read everything. But...
Yeah.
But at the
Tony Khan is a smart dude.
Yeah. But Tony Khan's a guy who's going to be able to... who's going to weed through the BS. Like anybody... And here's the other thing. What were they reading and studying in The Observer?
Nothing.
He was never writing about how to book a territory.
Everything Dave Meltzer wrote about was stuff that people told him.
Mm-hmm.
Other people in the business told him.
And he gave opinions. He certainly gave opinions. So if you're a young person who's going to become a promoter one day, like we've talked about in the past, you know, Al Snow shaped our opinions in a lot of ways of what wrestling should be or how a match should be done because we valued his opinion and he pretty much taught us, right? But so I understand Dave's concept of like, well, they grew up reading me and believing me, much in the way that people who listen, who are huge fans of Something to Wrestle, have a disdain for Dave Meltzer because of Bruce Pritchard's view on things. But again, it's a slanted view, and we, you know, right or wrong, it is somewhat, you know, slanted. But I just like, there's at no point where he was teaching anybody anything. Devin says, Tony Khan said on Jericho's pod that Dave called him after the Brody Lee news broke. Well, I'm sure he did. I mean, look, there's a direct line. I have plenty of phone numbers in my phone. It doesn't mean that I have any power or control over anything, you know?
Right.
So,
like I said, nobody's, you know, in the pinch going, oh, shit, you know. But if I can relate this to like football, you know, like I said, Dave reports a lot of stuff that other people in the business told him,
right,
that was happening. And like right now we're in the world of COVID, and in Philadelphia we got this thing with Carson Wentz and anonymous sources, shit like that. And one of my favorite football reporters is Ray Didinger, and there's another guy, Les Bowen. It's like it's been hard to get the feel for like the locker room and all this other things because it's a new world where you can't be around the players and stuff like that, and talk to players and stuff. Half of the stuff, you know, Meltzer, you know, half the thing news reporters report is based off what players tell them in the locker room. But could those sports reporters go and call a game for an NFL team?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, no.
You know, I'll see, you know, Ray Didinger, you know, legendary. He's in the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame as a sports writer. Mm-hmm. I don't see people, you know, going, shit, you know, we're in a, you know, creative run here. Everybody's, you know, onto our game plan. What's Ray Didinger?
Right.
Or what's Les Bowen doing? You know, now I need some help on running plays to get to the playoffs or whatever, stuff like that. So,
in the way that you said about how we can look back at you know, events and fans can look at it and they've memorized everything because they've watched it 10 times and you lived it. You know.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. WWE, they're in a bubble. You know, they're in their bubble. You can't not be. You know, you and I both ran indie promotions at one time or another. You're in your indie promotion bubble when you're doing that stuff. It doesn't matter how big, how small, you're in that bubble.
Yeah.
It is easy for us to look at it and go, that segment didn't interest me. I don't really like that. They don't know what they're doing. And it's easy. And I say it all the time. I do things like that. But you have to, at some point, step back and look at how difficult a job it is to be doing creative, to be overseeing creative. And unfortunately, I think the biggest issue with WWE, the biggest issue may actually be, creatively, may actually be Vince McMahon's work ethic. But not in the way Dave Meltzer is saying, in the sense that he wants to have his fingerprints on everything. He doesn't want anything to go out on the air that he hasn't seen. And unfortunately, when you're one person, no matter how great and powerful you are, like a Vince McMahon or even a Bruce Pritchard or anything like that, at some point, something's going to slip by you. Some sort of continuity is not going to work out. Something's going to be confused in the process, you know?
I was a victim of the said thing you just said. You know, dude, the Blonde Bitch Project.
Mm-hmm.
We drove up to Connecticut. Me and Stevie went up to Connecticut. We went to the warehouse, met up with Russo and Ed Ferrara. We went over to Ed Ferrara's house because it's like in the woods. Mm-hmm. We filmed this great. To me, it was great. The Blonde Bitch Project. We went to the first SmackDown in Kansas City. It played live for the audience. Got a good reaction. The boys in the back gave it a good reaction. The first SmackDown's set to air. I'm watching the whole show, and it doesn't air. Mm-hmm. Turns out, USA Today did an article on the Blair Witch Project craze, and they said even WWE's getting into action with the Blonde Bitch Project, which airs on the first SmackDown. I think it was Thursday at the time. Vince McMahon caught wind of this, like, what's this? Well, it's a parody of the movie The Blonde Witch Project. We're doing the Blonde Bitch Project. I never saw it. I didn't see the movie. So since Vince didn't see the movie because he's in the WWE bubble, our segment got scrapped. Yeah. A segment that we drove to Connecticut, spent like a whole day filming, aired live to the crowd in Kansas City, got a good reaction. The boys in the back popped. And I'm sitting there at home, you know, VCR recording, ready to watch, you know, something I'm very proud of. I show up to TV the next week, and Ed Ferrara and Vince Russo goes, Vince didn't get it. He just didn't see the movie. So the thing you just said, you know, is worth that. He's so in the WWE bubble, you know. I guess ACD, you know, other than AC/DC being the most recent band that he's probably into, you know, he thinks Perry Como's a hot new upcoming act, you know, just because he's so tuned into WWE. Yeah. Whatever's going on in the outside world, he's probably oblivious to, just because he's so laser focused on WWE. And the word is micromanage.
Yes,
you know,
the issue that I have, and then we'll get off of this Meltzer thing, but the issue that I have with him. And I'll say professionally. I'm not going to say personally because I don't know him personally, and we all have our personas.
Yeah,
you know,
he's a good guy. He's always been good to me. You know,
I mean, he decided to step in front of me and Calvin at a press conference one time when he didn't even have a camera or microphone. So that's cool. And, you know, Calvin's 4'3", so you know, yeah, small guy.
4'3", 4'5" when he's because he raises off the ground a little.
Oh man. But anyway.
Anybody smell popcorn?
But the issue that I have is, as I listen to Conrad's shows and as I go back and look at Observer things when, you know, researching some of our That Was Extreme shows and things, I have issue with his manner of delivery. I have issue with, there's no reason that you can't give an opinion, right? You can give facts, you can give opinions, and guess what? You can give opinions and call them facts. If that's what you want to do, if that's your shtick, knock yourself out.
It's basically what it is.
Yeah. It's an op-ed, and that's fine. That's honestly, that's fine. The problem I have is when you have things like lines like, and she chopped her in the implants. That's not necessary. That's not necessary at all. You can say she chopped her in the chest. You don't have to try and be funny. You know, everyone's a comedian, except for the fact that most people aren't funny. So, you know, don't try and be. So he says things like that. The just off the top of my head, the one of his things based on like a SummerSlam, the Hart Foundation coming to the ring in these new gay jackets. Now, listen, I understand that didn't age well. Wasn't great at the time. You can forgive, I guess, comments like that because it was 1990 and, you know, people were not as sensitive to it. But the intent is there. The intent, forgetting even the homosexual bashing there, let's pretend that there was nothing, that wasn't his intention, right? His intention had nothing to do with the gay community. His intention was to insult their jackets. Right. Because he called them gay jackets that looked like something Michael Jackson would wear. That was what his line was.
Yeah.
And I say this as someone who does a satirical wrestling news show where you do poke fun at things. I had the line where I said Vince McMahon, you know, WWE chairman and man whose eyeballs are the same color as his skin. Like, you know, there are things that you say, but I don't know. I also come out and say this is a satirical news show. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just a gigantic hypocrite. Maybe I am. And I'm sure in some aspects you could look at things I've said and go, well, what about that? And then I'd have to go, yeah, you know what? I'm an asshole for saying that. But that's my issue with him is he comes up with these things. And again, maybe I shouldn't be so hard on him for something that he said 20 years ago, because I'm sure we all said things 20 years ago that wouldn't age well to today just because of how culture has changed. But his intent is always to insult the talent and always to belittle the writers, belittle the talent, belittle the company, as opposed to reporting on it. There's nothing wrong with saying that fell flat. That was not a good segment. But when you add your little flavor of crap in there, it just, to me, it's offensive, and that's why professionally I'm not a fan of his. Thus ended the rant.
And you just brought up a memory, and sort of related, not Dave Meltzer, but Wade Keller. We did TNA did the ECW tribute pay-per-view, Hardcore Justice.
Yeah.
And I was invited to do it.
That's the one you big dogged, right?
Dude, I spent a couple grand on a vacation, which I was set to go on the next day. No. Well, for those who, I'm replaying this just for the folks who may not know this story. You know, I was invited to do Hardcore Justice, and I turned it down because the day after Hardcore Justice, I was set to I spent a couple grand on a vacation to California. I was like, hey, can you just fix my tickets, fix my airline tickets? I'll come down, do the show, and then, you know, I'll keep the portion home. You just reroute me, you know, because Bob Ryder owns a travel agency. Should be no problem, right? Okay, they didn't want to do it. Okay, I'm not going to do this pay-per-view. That's fine. That's cool. So they asked me to film something and send it in. So I went down to Todd Gordon's Carver W. Reed. They filmed something with Todd and sent it in. And then I filmed something outside of Todd's store, like outside, just a quick little promo, which they air live to the crowd and pay-per-view, duh. So I start reading like the reviews of the show. I'm reading Wade Keller, his Pro Wrestling Torch, and they get to my segment where I do a video, where I did my promo, and Wade Keller goes, "When did Blue Meanie become gay?" And I read that, and I was like, I'm gay? Because I did a promo? Wow. Why am I gay?
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with being gay.
No.
But I'm with Mrs. Meanie. I've been with Mrs. Meanie years at this point. I mean, we're still together to this day. What was it in my promo, my heartfelt promo that I was doing from the heart to the wrestling fans, to the ECW fans, to the TNA fans, the air over pay-per-view? What made me gay? How was I gay? And you know what? I kick myself because I've seen Wade Keller in person since then, and I could have brought it up and had a huge argument at this indie show, and I was just like, dude, where were you coming from with that? Why did you?
And again, it's that other, because it was the question, because was it like a mannerism that that caught him off guard? Was it the fact that you were emotional? Is that, I mean, because that's a fun way to look at things. A man being emotional about something makes him gay. Not to mention the fact that just suggesting that a man being emotional makes him gay is presenting being gay in a derogatory way.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. Like, you're like, oh, when did, he become this way? He used to be better, right? Like, that's the that's the takeaway from that. And
that's the thing that bothered me, saying that like gay's a bad thing. Gay's not a bad thing. Why am I gay for being? Like you said.
And let's say you were.
Right.
Like let's say, because here's the other thing. Yeah, you were, you're not, but he wouldn't have known.
But even if I was, so what?
And what if you were? Like, oh, when did Meanie become gay? It was right after None of Your Fucking Business. Like, like.
Look. I have no problem saying that Dave Grohl is my man crush. Mm-hmm. But,
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying, Paul Rudd's a damn handsome man.
Yeah, but he's a celebrity. That's not gay when you're, You're allowed to have sex with someone of the same gender 15 times if they're a celebrity. The 16th time, then it's like, come on, man, that's, you're gay. But 15 times they're a celebrity, you're fine.
Yeah.
Or if they tell you they're a celebrity.
And that's why I think that's, it wasn't until this is the first time I've mentioned this.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I verbalized it, and like it bothered me. It still bothers me. And to the point where I tried to look it up, and I guess it's behind the paywall on his site now in like the archives, but it's there. And it was on his website for a while because I had seen it, but it just really bothered me that like, just because I'm an emotional guy, that somehow makes me gay, and somehow gay's bad. And there's nothing wrong with being gay. There
was a line in a show that I had done. I did a web series for a number of years, and looking back on it, so it's funny, the character that the whole point of the character that I was playing there, the whole point was, I'm saying something's gay. It makes me uncomfortable. Like, oh man, it's so gay. And I even say the thing of like, no, I don't mean like homosexual. I mean like gay, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like making it the slang derogatory term. And the whole point was, if you're watching this, you have the other character going like, wow, man, that's offensive. That's not, and this is a scripted thing. I was playing a part. It's not how I actually felt. But looking back on that now, even though, I mean, and again, I was playing a part. It was a script. And I was the one in the wrong, very clearly in the message of the show. But it still makes me uncomfortable looking back. What I will say is, when I was doing it, I knew it's a character. It is what it is. Didn't make me uncomfortable. And that's where I look at things like what Meltzer had said and you know, and Keller and stuff. And you can say, okay, this was a decade or 2 decades ago or 3 decades ago. And you can forgive a level of ignorance because if the behavior has changed, people can learn. Right. People can not mean harm and then learn that they did harm accidentally. And that's okay. That's growing as a person. But still, I look back at a scripted thing where I'm playing the guy in the wrong. Yeah. And it still makes me uncomfortable. So to have someone saying it when they're not playing a character is just, I don't know. And I hope, you know, our listeners are, you know, we're not trying to get preachy or anything here, but it's something that I feel like when you have a voice, when you have a platform, you need to be a little bit more conscious of it. You need to be a little more conscious of that these are real people. Yeah, I get they're celebrities and stuff. You know, there's stuff Meltzer with insulting, forget one of the Iconics, Wait, you know, a couple years ago. And it's like, you know, which he then backpedaled and said, oh, I wasn't talking about her weight. I was talking about her implants. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. Then you're just a creep. But like, it's, yeah, I mean, I never knew that about, with Wade Keller.
Yeah,
and I'd like to believe that today he never would have said something like that. I'd like to believe that was just kind of, again,
I like Wade.
Culture.
I like Wade, but why did you say, well,
but what was the intention? The intention for getting is it appropriate to call something gay, right? For getting that whole argument, it's about the intent. And the intent was to be insulting. The intent was to make fun of you for being emotional.
Right.
His way of doing so happened to be additionally offensive, but the intent behind it, there's no place for it. There's just no place for it. Don't be outwardly, you know, I try to, when I do my show, when I'm poking fun at something, for the most part, I try to either A, poke fun at people who make a living at poking fun of people, because I think that's fair game. Or B, I poke fun at a storyline or a character or something, you know, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I'm up here on my soapbox.
It's a good discussion. It's a good discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of good discussions, you want to ask Meanie anything?
I would love to.
All right. Well, then why don't we go ahead and do that?
It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
I just went overboard. We had to break this up a little bit. All right. First question here. How do you feel about derogatory? No, I'm just kidding. Let's see.
Your favorite Judy Garland record.
What'd you say?
Your favorite Blue Meanie, what is your favorite Judy Garland record?
Man, when did the Blue Meanie
What's your opinion on pastels?
Blue.
Say no to Dayglow. Blue Meanie giving fashion tips.
Ivan Rivers, at the
which I don't advise taking fashion tips from me because I have no sense of fashion.
Well, it's a style. Daisy Dukes.
Even though I do like shows like Project Runway. And
yeah, you have no sense of fashion. I mean, look at you wearing a T-shirt and a hoodie.
As someone who doing a show with somebody with a T-shirt and a hoodie.
Yep, I am wearing a T-shirt and a hoodie. Join patreon.com/mindofthemeanie to see all of my many T-shirts and hoodies.
Yeah,
Meanie is dressed like me for Halloween right now. Is basically what's happening. What are you? Is that a Van Halen shirt you're wearing?
Yes, sir.
Perfect, because Ivan Rivers wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Van Halen album Balance? Pretty excellent Hager effort rock and roll record.
No, dude, seriously. People ask me I just said this on Twitter not too long ago. Balance is like my favorite. Somebody asked me my favorite Dave and favorite Sammy era, and my favorite Sammy era is Balance and Foreign Lawful Carnal Knowledge, which is an acronym for fuck. They're like, hey, let's just call our album Fuck.
So a lot of fuck right there. An acronym for fuck. We lost the meaning.
For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, which okay. Little inside baseball. I just
folks,
got kicked out of eCam.
We seem to be having somewhat of an internet issue, which is confusing because we are HARD wired.
Let's see what's going on here.
Welcome back. We had it popped up that we were having an internet situation, which we are hardwired here.
I am hardwired,
but that's fine. But it ended on the word fuck. So if you want to pick it up from where you left off.
Yeah, just write down that time cue.
Nah, we'll just keep it in.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
because
fuck it all.
You'll hear my end of it because I was doing play by play. I was like,
I forgot we're yeah, that's great. Yeah, I don't. You know what? I'm not even gonna check for this time period. I wonder what we're gonna hear because you're actually. I forgot we're recording separate things. Yeah, you're gonna hear both of us.
Yeah, and
you're gonna hear me going, "Oh, we lost the meanie," and you're meanwhile gonna be. Going the fuck is going on?
You're going to be, so I've been kicked offline. And
all right, cool. I hope all of you enjoyed listening to whatever the fuck just happened. So, Meanie, you were saying?
Oh, yeah. So my two favorite Van Halen, Sammy era Van Halen albums are Balance and For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, which is an acronym for the word fuck. FUCK, for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, which I think Sammy got the idea from the boxer Vinny Penzienza. Sammy used to be a boxer, and he's big into boxing, and he's friends with Ray Boo Moo Mancini gave him that one, because him and Vinny Penzienza were like in the same era, so I got confused. But Ray Boo Moo Mancini was like, well, you know what For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge stands for? Means fuck, so they wanted to call their album Fuck. But yeah, Balance is an amazing record. Eddie's tone on that album is heavier. It's probably like some of the heaviest shit he does. If you hear Don't Tell Me What Love Could Do and all that stuff, and just there's actually an instrumental piece on there too, which I can't pronounce the name of.
Man, that sounds a lot like me doing a Pro Wrestling Noah interview with Sonny Ono yesterday for Fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just not being able to pronounce the name. So I'm going to throw that in there for anybody checking that out who is a Japanese or a Japanese wrestling fan. My sincerest apologies.
It's like the instrumental's called, I'm not even going to fucking try. It begins with a B and ends with an M, and I can't pronounce it. But why are you looking it up?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought it's like the name of a dinosaur or whatever. But like the sound, the instrumental's great. Unfortunately, that was their last full album with Sammy. And unfortunately, my favorite Van Halen Sammy era song is like, Humans Being off the Twister soundtrack, which wound up being the song that broke them up. But Balance is a great record, man. Definitely one of my favorite Sammy era records. Of course, I have to say by law, my favorite Dave record is Fair Warning. And probably my favorite album all around is Fair Warning. Just because, and like I said, I've been listening to this podcast called Running with the Dweezil. Dweezil's app is doing a Eddie Van Halen tribute podcast. And re-listening to that album, from Dweezil's breaking down the album with Nuno Betancourt from Extreme, and listening to them break it down, and then hearing like them pointing shit out, I'm hearing it with a whole new set of ears.
Sure.
They probably should have called Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, if they really want to. Well, you know what though? They don't have to because they probably grew up reading The Observer, and they know all about music.
Well, I grew up reading Guitar World, and
there you go. Now you can book any.
Even though I can't play, I can't play guitar, but I bought every Guitar World because Eddie Van Halen was on it. But so, next time, if I ever had the chance to meet Eddie again, I should have gave him some
pointers,
instructions.
Yeah,
some pointers. Yeah, Eddie, this tapping thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not for you. Eddie.
Yeah,
it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to work for you. RJ Krasinski.
Yes.
Congratulations on last week's Saturday Night Live. Oh, that was John Krasinski. Okay. RJ Krasinski. ETA on when the figures will be sent out. So.
That's a question for you.
I have an ETA that I am not allowed to share, but here's what I will tell you. We have it promoted as summer of 2021. Yep.
Since we're recording, I might have a fresh one. Hold on.
Give it to me.
Wow. Oh my, hold on. Fuck. Whoa. Whoa. All right. Hold on.
For those who are... Okay. Patreon.com/mindwithmeanie. $5 will get you in the door to watch. The Blue Meanie just dropped his headphones like somebody just called him out at the commentating table. The man got up, grabbed a pillow to wave out his room, and he's back. He doesn't even have his headphones back on yet. Wow. Welcome back. Those headphones dropped. The crowd went crazy. But,
fuck me. I guess if we're going to fart into a microphone, don't sit down right away into the fucking cloud.
You need a fart mic because, you can't be... Yeah. First of all, that's how you get pink eye.
Brown eye. That's how you get brown eye.
Man. So...
Dude, I've been teasing this fart mic concept for a while now.
Episode 50 is coming up. Hey, big announcement for episode 50. We'll let you know in a couple weeks. I'm
trying to blow fresh air up from my nostrils.
Fresh air through your nostrils? You don't have fresh air from your mouth?
It smells better than what came out of my ass. I was so high pitched. I was waiting for a fucking beluga whale to fly through my fucking windows.
Oh man!
Hello, beluga.
This is the episode where I hope people tell their friends, "Go, yeah, you should listen." They had near the end, they had a really serious conversation. Just skip ahead. Okay, as far as the figures go...
there goes our Nobel Prize.
Yeah. So as far as the action figures go, we had been promoting summer of 2021. So this summer, at the rate... We don't want to change really the promotion because, we'd rather... Because anything can happen still with COVID, with all, anything can get screwed up. What I will say is they are... months ahead of schedule. Yeah. So I can't say exactly how many months ahead of schedule, but we are getting close. So
I'm excited.
I am very excited for this. I actually opened up the Nick Aldis the other day. Nice. I had a mint on card, and then as I was displaying,
does it come with the belt?
He doesn't come with the belt. This belt came with an old, I think it came with a Christian Cage TNA figure.
Okay.
And I found it years ago when I first did my shelf, and I had worked with Nick when he was NWA champion. I think the first time I interviewed him. And so I just kind of had this sitting on the shelf representative of Nick Aldis, the fact that I interviewed the NWA champion. So then I figured I'd just put it over his shoulder. I mean, it's perfect. It works great. But the reason I'm saying this is holding the actual figure in my hand night and day from the prototype. This is
Really?
heavy. It's just, this is real. The material of it, like this, it's just, I'm so excited. The paint, the way that it's painted is so different. The decals and stuff, the deco on here is applied so differently than a hand painted prototype. I am just that much more excited for this.
That's awesome, man.
I'm so psyched for these figures.
I'm jealous.
I'm Josh.
Quite on.
Zinger. But no, so they're coming soon. I'd say right now they're breathing heavy. But they're not coming yet.
Yes. I have nothing to add.
Okay, let's scroll through some other things here.
I almost whited out on that fart, man.
That didn't look good.
I pushed so hard I saw white. I was like, oh. I had to grip my chair. I was like, oh.
Here's I do want to say this isn't a question, but James Sorensen, hey James, he said he got my I Inspire Myself shirt. Always great t-shirts and great items. Dude, I didn't even remember that is a shirt that we offer, but yeah.
We're
awesome,
horrible
man.
salesmen. We're horrible salesmen.
Yeah, buy those shirts or whatever.
Yeah.
We're working on, we're going to have some better commercials soon.
Yeah.
And I think those will be enjoyable.
Yeah.
But so for now, just go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Anyway, RJ Krasinski, he's guess who's back again. RJ's back with a
Tell
question. What are both of your thoughts on workers kicking out of their opponent's finisher on a consistent basis? Meanie.
I think we've had this conversation with the Jimmy Snuka thing.
I think
that was extreme.
That was Extreme, episode 2, available now for free over at adfreeshows.com. Us and the great Joel Gertner. We absolutely broke this. We talked about it a little bit. It was on the, this part's not free. It was on the Q&A that we did, where we went into a great detail about that. Thank you, everyone who joined us for that. That was a blast. We went
I love the crew over at Ad Free Shows.
Yeah, and I love that there's a lot of crossover crew there.
A lot of our pod squads over
yeah,
there.
which is always great.
Which is cool.
You feel like all your friends showed up to this thing, which is awesome.
We didn't feel alone in the venture.
No.
But yeah, kicking out and finishers. When Tommy Dreamer kicked out Snuka's Superfly Splash, it meant something because it was hardly ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When it's done sparingly, it's impactful. But when it's done often, then it becomes a formula. It becomes formulatic. Is that a word?
Formulaic.
Formulaic. Thank you, Professor Shernoff.
That's what I'm here for.
But then I start remembering back to watching All Japan Pro Wrestling, where a guy would hit his finisher and the guy would kick out, and then the guy would just grab the guy and hit him with it again, and the guy would kick out, and maybe like the fourth time. Yeah. And then there's it was like a formula for like All Japan back in the day. Like, all right, I'm gonna hit you with the fucking the lariat. The guy kicks out like halfway, and then gets up, fucking hits him with it again. You keep hitting him to But
the thing is, it's like if the finish is the move that you do better than anybody in the world, that's like the idea, right? Like you do this better than anybody. That's like
Jake Roberts said it best when he said, all these people kicking out DDT just makes mine look even better.
Yeah.
The fact that when he hit it, people stayed the fuck down. Now these guys today are hitting it and kicking out. How good can it be?
Yeah.
I don't like it when it's done, overly done. Because then it's not a finisher. It's a part wayer or whatever. A finisher means finish, right? Signature move maybe. But when it's overdone, it's just like you're just bastardizing it. You're going to that well one too many times.
Yeah. James Sorensen asks, top 5 rock groups you listen to on the regular.
Holy shit. That's a tough one. Probably we have to. Well, Van Halen's number one. I usually say Van Halen's my number one band. Everybody else is fighting for second place, which is a line I stole from JR.
About Bobby.
Well, Jay, when they were doing, was it not Tough Enough? Brawl for All. JR was like, Steve Williams going to win this. Everybody else is fighting for second place. That's where
I'd heard him say that about Bobby Heenan.
Oh, well, that's
the greatest manager and all that stuff of all time. He's number one ever. Yeah.
Yep. And it's true. But in my case, Van Halen's number one. Everybody's phone. So, okay, here's my top 5. Van Halen. I'm in love with the Foo Fighters. Their new album just dropped. Pearl Jam. They get me in the feels.
Sorry, this is a little delayed, but keep answering the question.
That is such a fake Foo Fighter song. So Van Halen, Pearl Jam, Foo Fighters. Because, I wake up, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll have a random 80s song stuck in my head. I've had Men at Work's It's a Mistake playing in my head all day today. Fuck.
I had Men at Work working on my kitchen all day yesterday.
You had a man at work install the wrong carpet.
Yeah, but I got the right carpet now. Matches the drapes. No, I love this carpet now. It's so nice. I wish you could all see my office, but I'm too lazy to show you. When it's all done, when they're done cutting a hole in my wall and I cover it over with something, I'm going to do, now that I'm over 1,000 YouTube subscribers for So Says Shernoff, I am going to do the behind the scenes, the making of an episode. And it's going to kind of be what the making of the old way of doing it when I was at the school, at the studio, and the way that we do it now. By we, I mean me, by myself here. So it'll be a lot of fun to do. And with that, you'll get to, maybe at some point we'll do separate from that. That'll give you a little peek, but maybe we'll do, if anybody cares, maybe I'll do a tour of my office at some point.
Yeah.
Like a Patreon exclusive. No one gives a shit anywhere else. So I don't know. But anyway, so that was.
Yeah, I'm stuck on that. There's the top 3, and then everybody else is just man,
well, Vanessa Bella has a Van Halen question.
Sure.
Are you aware of any yet to be released songs that are maybe just sitting in a vault somewhere?
Dude, that was the thing with when Eddie died. People kept asking. Wolfgang was doing the press circuit a month later, and everybody's asking about the vaults, and of course he shyly said, he said, "Well, if knowing my dad, he probably said if it was good enough, it's already out." But again, back to the Dweezil Zappa podcast I've been listening to. He had Steve Vai on and Paul Gilbert on, and they've heard some of the stuff Eddie has in the vault. And Paul Gilbert was saying, Eddie, I went over to 5150, and Eddie played me some of the new. This is when Sammy was in the band. He's like, Eddie's playing me the new songs, just the music, but then he plays me the same song, but he's playing the vocals on guitar, kind of like a Joe Satriani. Joe Satriani will play guitar, and then he'll do a vocal line, but with guitar. All that stuff's in the fucking vaults too. So I'm hoping. I'm no rush. I mean, dude, Wolfie's dad just passed, but one day in the future, I hope Wolfie and Alex, Eddie's brother, go to 5150 and go through the vaults. There's a process, they say, to those old tapes where those old reel-to-reel tapes, you have to bake the tapes in an oven to kind of get everything to go back together. Like, if it just sits there for a while, some of the parts of the tape kind of come undone. I don't know what the process is, but they have, and I've heard Eddie say this too, you got to bake the tapes to, you know, make them usable again. And then there was an interview with Eddie where he said he was cataloging everything that he had on the fucking in the vault, and then his computer crashed and they couldn't recover the hard drive. So, but like if you watch, like go to Wolfgang Van Halen's Instagram, he did a really cool photo of his dad playing piano. And then, like, there's a photo of him at the same piano playing. It's like a really cool black and white photo. But in the background, there's a wall from the floor to the fucking ceiling of just fucking tapes. Just sitting there. Just sitting there. And I would, dude, if I had any inkling of how to do that, I would just go in there and do it for free just for the fucking,
Yeah, right.
The discovery. And then there's stuff coming out now. After Eddie passed, somebody released a song. I forget the producer's name, but he was doing a Jimi Hendrix tribute album, and he just released the Eddie thing. Eddie playing Jimi Hendrix, If 6 Was 9.
Oh, wow.
And somebody's singing. They had somebody doing the vocals. I don't know who, but hearing Eddie play Jimi Hendrix fucking melted my headphones. It was amazing.
Oh.
It was amazing stuff.
Do you have a link to that?
I can get it. Yeah, or if just go on YouTube, Eddie Van Halen, If 6 Was 9, it'll come right up.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
I want to hear that.
Fucking amazing. But there's like when Prince died, all these leaks start coming out because like Prince recorded like Eddie has his home studio. Prince has a home studio, but his whole, according to Kevin Smith, who went to Prince's estate, every room in the house was mic'd for sound. So like if Prince is on the toilet taking a shit and the next Raspberry Beret comes out, he just has to sing out loud and it's recording. And then he can just go record that tape. So
Raspberry Beret, is that what he called his shit?
Yeah.
So he had a fart mic.
Yeah, Prince had a fart mic. That's the name of the episode.
Yeah?
Prince had a fart mic.
I saw another suggestion of a name of the episode, but I don't know. I don't remember.
I was thinking.
Oh, that's how you get pink eye.
Okay, let's go with that.
Okay.
That's it.
But
there's a couple ones. I was going to say, should we call this, is it poison? Or that's how you get pink eye.
That was RJ.
Write it down so you don't forget.
Write it down.
Right now.
Oh, you know what? I'll use this pink unicorn pen that I stole from my daughter so that I could hang things on my wall.
Adorable. Does she still give you the fucking I'm looking at you thing?
She hasn't done that in a while.
Oh.
Maybe she's not watching anymore?
No, when she goes silent, that's when you have to worry.
That's when you worry, yeah. She's been adorable. Every day she dresses herself as soon as she gets up, and she comes in with, like today, she's like, I decided that I would wear a tutu and a short sleeve shirt so I could look like my doll Molly. And she just looked adorable. I mean, these are definitely not clothes that she's supposed to be wearing anymore. Like, they're way too small, and like, she's just, and nothing matches. It's great.
In some fashion worlds, that's avant-garde.
Yeah. So. No, she's adorable though. These poor kids, man. I feel so bad for them. I want them to just get out and see friends and go to school and experience.
Well, here's the thing.
You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like to get, my inner George Carlin, he's like, remember when you were a kid, you just go out in the fucking yard and play with a stick? You might dig a fucking hole, play with some dirt.
Yep.
Look out the window and daydream. Do kids even know what a fucking stick is anymore?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, they make them in China, and they're covered in lead, and they give you poisoning or whatever. Just give you lead poisoning or whatever. But yeah, dude, when I was a kid, you just go out and you just fucking get dirty and play and just let your imagination take you somewhere.
I mean, it's great to see what my kids have been able to do with their imagination being kind of like stuck in the house, especially in the winter. They were out playing in the snow the last few days, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. We're getting more snow, looks like.
How bad did you get hit? Because I know
it was maybe,
because we got nailed doing the Royal Rumble alternative commentary.
Yeah, let's see. I would say
as you bust out a ruler,
we were probably at about 12 inches, maybe 8 to 12. I know that seems like a big difference, but it's tough to tell because, as soon as, depending on where your house is and where the wind is, some stuff was above 12, some stuff was as low as 8. So maybe like 9 inches.
My street is so weird. I'm on a small South Philly side street, and it's like a wind tunnel. It's like and there's been times where I'll have like a foot of snow in front of my house, and my neighbor has nothing because all his snow blew over to my side of the street.
Yeah, so that's where it becomes kind of tough to tell like how much. But I will tell you, shoveling was a pain in the ass because this snow was so heavy.
It rained.
It was so damn heavy. And then
sleet.
They plowed the street, I had to get at the end of my driveway. They plowed it. Well, dude, that was like 2 feet up because they plowed everything up. And so I had to shovel that. And then I
dug my car out, and then like in South Philly, they usually never plow our street. And then it was like 4 a.m. Tracy shakes me awake and goes, they're plowing. And I was like, oh great, I'm just gonna have to dig my car out again. What? Yes,
we have buried in the snow in our front, like where we would put the trash out. The workers, brother, they put the dishwasher, our old dishwasher, out on the curb. And then it snowed, so I actually have a picture of my son with his little toy shovel digging out trying to dig out the dishwasher. So
a futile gesture.
Yeah. Jeffrey Mitchell.
Well-intentioned.
Right.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Hey, Jeffrey Mitchell. When all this blows over, can we have a Retromania wrestling video game tournament at McCusker's while you do a live podcast?
That sounds amazing.
Seems like something that we could absolutely try and organize with.
They have a huge, They have a huge projection screen, which would be perfect for that.
I think we do a lot. I think we could do a live show, and I think that could be maybe a portion of the live show or a separate live show or something where you and I basically do alternative commentary to people playing in a tournament. We can do the alternative commentary. It's kind of what I want to say. Maybe it was James Sorensen way back in the day. Asked if we could do it for a different video game, but that could actually be a lot of fun.
Super Fire Pro, I think it was.
Fire Pro, yeah. But that could be a lot of fun if people can sign up for a tournament, kind of like a first come first serve sign up deal.
Yeah.
And we do a Retromania thing, and I you know what? I'm gonna write that down. Put that in my live show ideas. Anyway, the Dingbat returns. Have you seen his documentary?
Oh, that got me.
Yeah, it was great.
Yokozuna's documentary is probably right up there as one of my favorite docs so far.
For me, watching
or ever, yeah.
I loved the documentary. Watching Afa, I haven't seen Afa in person in so many years. And as I've mentioned on here before, I originally trained at the Wild Samoan Training Center. I trained with Afa and Samu, and it was a great group over there. But, this was in 2001 when I trained with Afa. So, I mean, he looks so different now. And I guess I do too, but it was like it kind of got me just watching him there talk, and I was like, oh man, I miss him.
Yeah.
I don't know the next time I'll get a chance to see him. I hope I get to see him at some point. When things open back up. He was supposed to be at like an 80s con thing or something. That I believe got canceled. I wasn't able to go.
I was going to go to that, and I was excited to go to that because Andre the Giant's daughter was going to be there.
Yeah, but it got canceled, right?
Yeah, it got
canceled from it. Yeah, so I was excited I was going to get to see Afa for the first time, and God, I probably saw him about 15 years ago, maybe. Was the last time I saw him, but so that was fun to watch. But the Dingbat Returns writes, was there a wrestler you saw live that just blew you away with their in-ring skills?
Oh my God. Most recently probably be Ricochet, but just the evolution of like flyers and people who can move in the ring and stuff like that. First time, I saw in person, so that's that eliminates Dynamite Kid because first time I saw Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask on tape blew my fucking mind. And then later on, you see a guy like Ricochet. What was the match with Ricochet? Was it with Zack Sabre Jr.? That made it to ESPN. It was like this match in Japan. I'm trying to think. But like Ricochet does stuff that I'm just like yeah, good luck trying to do that. He does things that, like, if I saw it in the video game, I'd be like, there's no way somebody can humanly do that.
Yeah, that's not real.
That's not real. Nobody can really do that. And then Ricochet does it.
Yeah,
you're just
it's
like, well, fuck me.
NBA Jam type.
I'll say Ricochet, man, because besides the fact that he's a great dude, but, like, watching him in person and watching that just, like, right in front of you, it's like, holy shit.
For me, George South. Travis, George South was a hell of a.
Oh, I know George South. I was in many years at the WrestleCade in North Carolina. I was in the George South Battle Royal.
Yeah,
which was fun.
I met him. I met him at Starcast. Great guy, actually.
Great guy. He's an amazing guy. But yeah, this as far as athletic ability, Ricochet. I mean, workability, fucking Eddie Gilbert, just
fuckability.
Viscera.
Travis Steenstra over here on patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. Was there ever a time when, and this is something I think we've talked about before, was there ever a time when you considered changing the look of the Blue Meanie, different ring gear, new makeup design? Or was it just a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it? So we talked about it, and I mean, you did change it up at some point.
Yeah, and that was just like after they released me, and Jim Ross was like, go home, put on a new coat of paint, and come back, and maybe we'll. I was like, I literally took that literally. I switched up my face paint. And, there was a part where I got released, and I was still the Blue Meanie, but I wasn't really the Blue Meanie, which, during the 3PW years, which I kind of hate that I did, as kind of my fuck it years, fuck it. I was like the dejected clown that's just like, drunk at a kid's party, I was a Blue Meanie, but I wasn't the Blue Meanie. So, I switched it up. But then, when One Night Stand came around, I figured, well, I got to go back to that look. And once I put the old familiar face paint back on and the Daisy Dukes and the shirt, it's like, yeah, I should probably stick with this.
Yeah.
You change the only time you should really change your gimmick is like if you're on TV. Whatever you did last on TV, that's pretty much what you're going to be for forever. Because if you change it up and then like you start doing indies with a whole different look, and people are like, oh, that's not the Blue Meanie I remember. the last person I saw on TV. So if like I went back on TV and switched things up, then that's what I would be. Last time I was on ECW TV was the Blue Boy, but thankfully, I went back to trying to be the Blue Meanie, and thankfully for One Night Stand, I was able to bring that look back and stick with it. So yeah, I've done it. It's just that
as a wide
vintage
man,
look is what it is. What it is.
As a wide man once said, and this is Mark Mast I'm talking about, you go with what works.
Yeah.
I remember him telling me that. Anthony Camarada says, I can't remember if it was talked about before. Does Meanie like the show Coast to Coast AM?
Oh yeah.
And who is his preferred host? Art Bell or George? I can't read. Norrie?
George Norrie.
Yeah,
Art Bell.
Very small.
Art Bell.
Art Bell.
Yeah, Art Bell, hands down. From west of the Rockies. If you're on the east of the Rockies, use the east of the Rockies line. Dude, here's some useless knowledge.
Please.
There's a call on the Art Bell show, Coast to Coast AM, whatever. And this guy said he was from Area 51, and they were triangulating his call. He used to work there, and the government was after him. And the Art's talking to him. He's like, this guy's panicked. And I'm listening to this live. And he's like, they're triangulating my call. They're finding me, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden his phone cuts out. And Art's like, hello, what happened, And then they took that call, and Tool put it at the end of one of their albums.
That's
like
awesome.
The song ends, and they play they have like a little bit of like they played a little bit of that call on the Tool album. I forget what song it was, but it's pretty cool. But it's cool. I heard that live as it happened.
That's very cool.
It was kind of like my version of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds. I was like, oh my God, what happened to the guy? And I discovered Art Bell through my grandma. She would listen to him. I would hear him in the other room talk about UFOs and ghosts and the chupacabra and stuff like that. I was like,
can't even say this shit right now.
Nan, what are you listening to? And then I start listening to it.
Chupacabra, right?
Yeah, not the BQ, not like Chumbawamba, but chupacabra.
Chumbawamba. We did that episode already. Question. Oh, James Sorensen asked, Josh, how was Umaga when you met him? I never actually met Umaga. I think if I did, it was long before the Umaga days, and it was like which one was he, ECMO or?
I believe so.
And it would have literally been like me as a trainee coming up and like shaking his hand and being like, "Hello, I'm Josh. Nice to meet you." But I know that sounds terrible. I don't know if you have to remember at the time there were a lot of people who came in and out, and a lot of Samoans who came in and out. And if you didn't know,
well, they're all related, and
if you didn't know who it was, I wouldn't have like retained. There were plenty of family members that I met, but if I didn't know who they were, I didn't necessarily retain the memory of meeting them, if that makes sense. Yeah. But never heard anything bad about him ever. Did you ever meet Umaga?
I'm sure I did. But all the reports is, he was a sweetheart of a guy. I definitely remember being with Rosie, because he was in ECW. He was in the Samoan Gangsta Party.
Right.
I feuded with the Gangstas, and after ECW, we kept seeing each other on the indies and stuff like that. And then once he got called up to WWE, he started doing the Rosie gimmick. Well, he was doing a 3-minute warning, or what is it?
3-minute warning first, yeah. He was Rosie. It was Rosie and Jamal in 3-minute warning, and then he went into the superhero and training and stuff.
Yeah, so I was so happy for him. And then you hear stories about Shane Helms talking about him where he had like his own like self-doubt, which, you know, we all have as performers.
Sure.
But yeah, sweetheart of a guy.
Last two questions here. We'll
Sure.
do one from Twitter, and then we'll jump back to one more from James. Chris at Chris WD 2009. What is the best and worst thing about being in the wrestling business?
Well, best thing is just I mean, it's always been my dream to be a wrestler and to be in the business and have an idea, formulate it, and then executing it, and then watching people react to it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But when it's great, it's very euphoric, you know. You know, there's some things I watch back on, and sometimes I watch me, sometimes I watch the crowd. And I watch the stuff that's going on around me that I wasn't aware of at the time happening around me, and appreciate it with a whole new, you know, sense of eyes. Worst thing, probably the travel. No, not the travel, but just like there's a certain Groundhog's Day effect that goes on, you know. And there was a point where I was on the road a lot, and when I got home, I didn't know how to react to being home.
Right.
Like I would come home, like I would be away for 2 weeks, come home for 2 days, go out for another couple weeks, come back for a day, whatever. And there would be times where I come home, and instead of going home, I would just go to a hotel and get a room just to kind of feel normal.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, yeah, there's definitely a, you know, Groundhog's Day / what's that called? Shawshank Redemption quality to the wrestling business.
Yeah.
To where, you know, there's, you know, certain things that happen, you get released by WWE and you're working the independent scene. Somebody out in the wild sees you. Hey, Blue Meanie, why'd you quit wrestling?
Yeah.
I didn't quit wrestling. I'm still wrestling.
There's wrestling outside your television set, which I believe is a shirt.
Which is a great shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie, which Mrs. Meany designed for me. Yeah, people assume that if you're no longer on TV, you quit wrestling, which I always say, if, you know, an actor stopped making movies and start working strictly Broadway plays, he's still an actor.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, that's no fault of anybody. It's just, you know, it's just a thing that people assume, which is something that I hate being asked. You know, why'd you quit wrestling? Oh, well, I didn't quit. I'm still doing it. You know.
The last question here from James Sorensen: do you think social media hurts or helps talent today? I feel like we've talked about that before, and that's definitely a question that deserves so much more time than I think we're going to give it now, but I'm sure we'll talk about it again in the future. But my quick answer is yes. It helps and hurts talent today. What about you?
If I could put it this way, a good worker never blame. What's the fucking saying?
Apparently, you can't put it that way. So, but if you could,
a good craftsman never blames his tools.
Yes. Or something
You know,
that
if
bad
a guy
craftsman
goes-
blames his tools. Something, yeah, but pretty much.
Yeah, so if somebody's, you know, fucks up a project, he can't go, oh, well, my hammer or my saw. Blah, blah, blah. Well, no, it wasn't your tools. It was you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use your tools the right way, then, yeah.
There is a way to be on social media and still be, God, look at The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock's on social media, but he's not sitting there like, you know, whining and complaining or having like pity fights with people or whatever the hell, you know. There's a way to do it, and I think from a marketing standpoint, it can be incredible. I mean, it has been
Twitter,
for us.
Yeah, Twitter's a vital instrument. It's how you use it, you know, just so you can, learn to use it as well. So, yeah, a good craftsman never blames his tools.
There you go.
So that's as simple as that.
And that is it for Ask Meanie. Thank you all so much. Meanie, I think this has been a very fun episode.
Yeah, I'm a little distracted here real quick.
Okay.
It's me. I'm the distraction. I'm
Mind
the
of the
distraction.
Meanie, Mrs. Meanie round and Tracy Roots got something to say. Hey, hey, hey.
I hooked up her headphones, and for some reason...
Listen, I think that extension is no good. I think we got to get a new extension. Fine, I'll order one.
Is that the extension that we got you?
Yeah, it's no good.
Son
Not good.
of- Can we return it?
Let me make sure that volume is up.
Listen, I don't know why you touched it because I had it enough so I could hear.
That's what she said. While
Turn it down.
Meanie tries to plug it in, let me take this opportunity to talk to all of you about patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. Join us on over at patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. We have many, many, many tiers, and then we also have levels of membership. So you can join us there as low as $5, as high as $200 if you want, and you will get your money's worth, we think. So join us over there, patreon.com/mindofthemeanie.
Yes. How are you?
Oh, hey. So I heard you talking about how you were saying like, how come you don't wrestle anymore? Right? Like
Right.
I heard you talking about that. Were
Yeah.
you plugging my T-shirt? Because you should have been number one.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay.
Josh mentioned it.
I did.
Okay.
That was me.
So there's a thing that I've been thinking about, and I just wanted to say out loud to your 4 listeners that you have.
Ooh. That was a deep cut right there. A little burn.
Only to the Blue Meanie.
Oh,
Josh,
man.
you're a superstar. You're a superstar.
Oh, thank you. Superstar of Sarcasm, new T-shirt available at ProWrestlingTees.com/so says Shernoff.
Wait, really?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So
Okay. So there's something that I've been thinking about that I wanted to say, and it's like there's a thing that people do, like there's a thing that wrestling fans do, and it's well-meaning, but it's a little like, cut it out. When they go, hey, Blue Meanie, go to AEW. Like when you tell a wrestler, like, you can't do that. And like,
I can't just show up.
and another, like,
really,
like the
because
thing
everyone
is,
seems to be.
the thing, and it's weird because it's like the only, I mean, well, I guess.
Like I could just hop the rail and not get arrested.
But a thing that you don't think of is like, what if the Blue Meanie is like has a blood feud with like Cody Rhodes and like really hates his guts, or like, you know what I mean, which is not true.
No,
That's-
I mean,
you
first
know.
of all, I
But-
think we all know that Cody is the Blue Meanie's half uncle. So
Yes.
Right, Goldust is my mommy-in-law.
Yeah.
It's true.
So but hey, family fights sometimes. So
Right. But you don't know who is friends with who in real life. And it's like a job, any job. But I gotta tell you, like, when we go to like wrestling shows, I don't wear T-shirts of wrestlers. I mean, sometimes I dress up like wrestlers, but they're usually my friends. It's like I've been doing an ECW theme and they're all my friends, and I actually see them during the day, so it's okay. But I don't wear like T-shirts of wrestlers, because what if I'm wearing like a Chris Jericho T-shirt or whatever, and they're like,
For example,
and
just an
somebody
example.
is like, ew, like you like that guy? Like, ew, he's a real piece of shit. Like, I'm not saying that. I think he's a very nice guy. He's very nice to me. But
Her point is you don't know which wrestler has heat with the other wrestler.
you don't know who's friends with who.
So I could be
Well,
wearing it. She could,
And that's why you don't talk shit about people either out in the real world. Can I tell you, we did a Conrad show at the TLA. We were at a venue in Philadelphia, and I went outside to smoke a cigarette. the Blue Meanie was a secret surprise guest on Conrad's show. And didn't a fan start talking shit about the Blue Meanie to me?
Not knowing that she was my wife.
He's like, the Blue Meanie, what did he ever do? Blah, blah. He's like, oh, he said something. He was talking shit. And I was like, that's my husband. Shut the fuck up. Usually I don't wave around the Blue Meanie, flag.
Oh, yeah. I tell people I'm still doing a podcast with Bill Apter.
Yeah. Way more respectable. But, you don't know who you're talking to.
No. It's a great point that you're making, and that's...
Series of points.
It's... The AEW, the go to AEW thing or something like that. It's...
Or any promotion.
Hey, Meanie, go back to WWE. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, what if,
As if I wanted to leave in the first place.
What if he, what if he, accidentally, pooped in Vince's corporate bathroom or something, and then he was like, oh, man, that Blue Meanie blew up the fucking toilet.
Yeah. First of all,
I don't want him in
we all
my
know
company.
that did not accidentally happen. Meanie knew exactly where he was.
I took a shit in Parliament once, but that was a different story.
No, I think this is a really good point, and that's
just a thought I've been thinking about, and you guys have a platform where I can say, hey, I know it's a well-meaning thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well-meaning thing, but it's just stop doing that. If you want you can go to the promotion and be like, hey, hire Blue Meanie. Or whoever.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Start sending some tweets to Tony Khan, right?
Listen, the Blue Meanie made a comeback. Like Family Guy. Remember Family Guy got canceled, and now it's still on the air. They're still making new episodes.
Because the fans demanded
the
it.
The Blue Meanie got rehired because of the fan demand.
Yep.
That happened. That's a real thing. But just saying, hey, why don't you go I really like Dunkin' Donuts, but I'm not going to go and start making coffee there. I got to put in an application.
Why don't you go to AEW? Why don't you go back to WWE? It's like you were just sitting there going, man, I really miss wrestling. I wish I could wrestle somewhere. I just can't think of where I should go.
If I only
and then someone's like, why don't you go to AEW? AEW, I knew there was a promotion. Come on. It's not...
Yeah. And folks mean well, but
yeah, of course.
I didn't want to leave WWE. I liked working for WWE. They just had nothing for me.
Yeah. But you know who did?
Which is also a t-shirt that you can get.
I was going to say, you know who did?
Unbooked
Catering.
Unbooked Catering.
ProWrestlingTees.com /Blue Meanie.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So how you guys been going 4 hours? You guys going to wrap this up?
Yeah,
we were actually about to.
Yeah, I figured. I figured. That's why I was trying to get you guys back on track.
But that's the art form.
That is. I love it.
I'm not trying to be like, come on, let's go. But
no. But before you go, I want to say, I'll put this up on the screen here. Travis Steenstra says, I really enjoyed your Tom Petty video, Mrs. Meanie. That's coming from a massive Tom Petty fan too.
Oh man, can I tell you something?
We talked about this a little bit earlier too.
So Tom Petty, I love Tom Petty. I don't know that I'm his biggest fan. I know the hits, and I love him. I appreciate him. But back in the day, maybe high school, there was this swamp that I would walk by when I'd walk with my friends home. We'd walk by this swamp, and there was this fox that would come out of the reeds when we'd walk by. So sometimes we'd sing Tom Petty to it because that's what we had stuck in our head at the time.
It's a fox. What the fuck else are you gonna sing?
So we named the fox Tom Petty, and it was probably a woman, it was probably a female fox. This is Tom Petty the fox. Anyway, flash forward. I get my first ukulele. The first song that I learned was "Learning to Fly." I didn't know how to. I just learned how to sing along with it. I don't. So I learned "Learning to Fly," and then I learned "Free Fallin'," which I cannot sing along to. I want to. This is me practicing. But Free Fallin' is how I know that my ukulele is in tune. I joke around that that's the only song that I know. And I had painted my original ukulele, I had painted a fox on. It was Tom Petty the ukulele because those were the songs. Those are the songs that I knew. And then the Blue Meanie sat on it.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But that was my fault. I had it in a soft case and I had it on a couch. So that was my fault.
Not on purpose.
I've since gotten like 10. I
made up for it.
I literally have 10 ukuleles now, so it's fine.
And there's something really cool about sitting around and listening to her play that's like just relaxing.
There's something really cool about sitting around on someone's ukulele.
Yeah.
No, but I'm sure it is. I was telling Meanie before that I watched your video and it was awesome. I just really enjoyed it. I like went from, because I didn't know at first, what the video was going to be. And it went from like,
sound like this?
Yeah, but I'm like, it went from like, all right, well, let me listen to this and see how it is, to just sitting back and enjoying it.
Yeah.
James Sorensen just tweeted Tony Khan, by the way.
Oh my God.
I'd like to do more. But I don't know how to sing and play along. I mean, I can just sing.
Hey, that's tough.
But
that takes
acapella
a
is a
long
little
time.
weird.
It's kind of like doing the pat your head.
It
and
is,
do a
yeah.
circle. Yeah.
It takes a long time.
And I also, it's like I've been playing for a while. Listen, I got my first ukulele the day after Brian's mother passed away.
Yeah.
Mama Meanie passed away, and I went to the Goodwill to get funeral pants, and it was behind the register. And I asked the girl, I said, how much for the ukulele? And she said, the what? And I was like, the little guitar. Oh, $14.99. And it's a Kala. It's nice. It's a good brand.
Oh, wow.
And it was in a case. It was in a soft case, which I would learn was a terrible mistake, and I should have gotten a hard one.
Who knew that the wrestler liked to plop on the couch and not look behind him,
Oh, man.
A fucking honky tonk you.
I had no ring awareness.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it's like I'd like to do more, but I can't sing and play along, and acapella is a little weird. So
Hey, you'll get there. Just keep practicing. I'm sorry.
And I got my stylophone. I have so many weird instruments. I could do like an actual video where I, play and then splice in my voice.
I was playing a little
That's
bit of
how
your
I did-
stylophone earlier.
That's how I did my my main song, and my like the boing was actually me sitting there and like waiting for myself to stop singing to boing. And then
I
the
remember
end,
from the video on there. You can
and the end credits, I strummed the ukulele on one track and then I sang on another. So I can splice them together. I could do that. I'm just lazy. Ah. Oh God.
I do want to just say real quick. Oh, that didn't go. Hold on. Breaking news.
Breaking
I
news.
just received this from Andy Slichter.
Oh God. Yeah.
Monger Man
There you
t-shirt
go.
coming soon to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind
Oh
of
boy.
the Meanie. Yeah. But hey, with that, guys.
Thank you for all your kind words.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no,
we were
hey.
talking about how we enjoyed it. Yeah, and she got over 1,000 views on Twitter too.
That's awesome.
Very exciting. I wish that would translate into something special, but it just makes me feel special.
And that's all that matters.
That's all. Yeah. And you
know
know
what?
what?
Did you
You put something out in the world, and people enjoyed it, and that's a pretty cool thing. That might seem small and simple, but in a
Somebody
day when people
probably
spend all
copy
their
and
time
pasted
putting
it.
things out in the world that suck.
Somebody probably copied and pasted it and said I'm an idiot. Who knows?
No, stop.
No.
They put me on fartfaceburgers.com.
Oh man, who hasn't been on there, right?
Well, I was trying to figure out what I wanted for lunch.
Listen, I posted Brian. Blue Meanie posted a picture of a burger that I made, and there was a Twitter account called like Stupid Burgers that had my picture as the default photo, and I'm like, I'm very flattered. Take that shit down.
How's that a stupid
fucking-
burger?
That's rude.
Yeah,
because it's got a lot of stuff on it.
She made a Philly burger.
But it's like,
Like
listen.
like it's stupid good, like that.
No,
No.
like
Okay.
you don't need to put so much shit on your stupid fucking burger.
Oh.
And like I didn't want to put it over because I didn't want to like get them any more eyes. You know what I mean,
I would just say they could, you know.
And I said take it down, and they took it down.
Your ass, you know, like
they said I said to take it down, but like you could have asked, you could have said, "Hey, your burger's stupid," and I would have gotten the joke. You know, but I'm sorry I put him over. Edit this part out.
That's too much work. James Sorensen says, should we also get Josh booked too? Listen, always. Yeah. Don't let Meanie lose out on a booking.
They come in a 2-pack, like those figures.
We literally come in a 2-pack.
Like the figures.
Unless it's a drunken night with Sean Waltman, then we. That's because then we.
All right, you got to do that thing where you're like.
Sorry. I popped myself. All right, listen. At this point,
you gotta do that thing where you're like, for Art Bell, Lisa Lyon.
We were just talking about Art Bell.
That's how George Norrie does the sign off. You gotta say all the names.
For Mrs. Meanie, for Mr. Blue Meanie, I'm Josh Shernoff. And this has been Mind of the Meanie. Everybody, support Mind of the Meanie if you'd be so kind by going to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie. You can support the Blue Meanie at prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie. And you can support me as well at prowrestlingtees.com/So Says Shernoff. Make sure if you'd like us to send you a message, you go to our respective cameos. He is cameo.com/BlueMeanieBWO. And I am cameo.com/So Says Shernoff. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mind of the Meanie, and follow us on social media at Mind of the Meanie on Facebook, Instagram, and of course Twitter. You can follow us as individuals as well. Meanie will be getting out of his car at the corner of. No, you can follow us at Mind of the Meanie. I already said that, but follow me at So Says Shernoff, and follow the Meanie at Blue Meanie BWO. That's across all platforms. Hey, follow us over at Altcom Live. Why not? For all your alternative commentary needs. And of course, at That Was Extreme. And check that out over at adfreeshows.com. Meanie, what did I miss?
I think you got it pretty well covered, more than I probably could have done.
Ooh, you can follow me at Trey Fave.
Go to
on Twitter
at Trey Fave.
And Instagram is vomitus.maximus. You can just find me tagged in Blue Meanie's pictures of me because he's like totally obsessed.
And make sure that's another bonus thing that you can see over at youtube.com/Mind of the Meanie. You can check out some awesome Mrs. Meanie run-ins from the past and maybe from the future.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
And everybody, most importantly, happy Valentine's Day. Because this will be airing before Valentine's Day. So it's important that we say happy Valentine's Day, everyone. It's important that you all join us again next Monday and every Monday. Another trip into the mind of the Meanie.
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.